Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell predicted that today during a news conference at the White House. They said, quote, "I believe we'll get over 1 million people. We believe we'll have well over 1 million people when we come here to D.C."
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Monday to everybody on a beautiful Monday outside. Great weather, starting to become more normal, Dave. It's supposed to be like 76 degrees tomorrow. It's time for you to get out in the yard and get it fixed, man. I'm tired of looking at it.
Bob, let me tell you something. My lawn right now, glorious.
Oh, really?
It's glorious.
I thought you said it was all mushy and
yeah, that
awful.
was because it was pouring rain the other day. But, yeah, we've had lots of sun lately and threw some dirt down.
So it looks like T-Mobile Park?
Looks fantastic.
You have the cool lines like they do out there?
I did like a cross-cut thing.
Cool.
Not quite the same.
Oh, well, good. I hope everybody else's lawn is looking good and taking advantage of this weather. Hopefully you had a great weekend. It was another great sports weekend for the Mariners as they win their 8th straight series in a row. 8 series wins in a row. We'll get into all of it with Rowland-Smith. He's going to join us at 3 p.m. for his weekly conversation with us. Martin Gallegos, A's beat writer for MLB.com, will join us at 4:30 because Mariners start their series with I was just about to say Oakland A's, the whatever A's. I guess they're just the A's. They don't call them the Sacramento A's. Mm-hmm. They're just the A's.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Do you think they feel like that minor league ballpark is an upgrade from the Coliseum? Seriously, I wonder if the clubhouses, or because we just heard the whole building there, and you've been inside, was just every part of it was dreadful. Maybe this is a more modern. Maybe obviously it doesn't seat as many people and all that, but in terms of what the players have at their disposal, I wonder if it's actually better.
Well, Charlie Furbush was on with Mike Lefko doing the postgame yesterday, and I texted and I said, "Tell Charlie that I just blew Diet Coke out of my nose," because it was hilarious what he said. But he was like, "Well, your chances in Sacramento of running into raw sewage on the floor is probably minimal compared to the Oakland Coliseum." Yeah, so isn't that right, Mike? He was. He was like, hey, at least we don't have that.
I appreciate you being a loyal listener.
Yes.
Bob, he was doing all the home projects. I was like, why did you listen? Not that, you shouldn't listen, but Dave's like, I was running back and forth. Had to go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
Bed Bath Beyond. Don't know if I have enough time.
Yeah, I don't know if
You're
we're going to
Lefko's biggest fan.
Yeah. So anyway, they did a good job, but that was hilarious when Charlie's like, he's answering it very seriously, and he's like, but, at least in Sacramento, you don't have raw sewage on the floor. So.
We'll ask Martin that. I don't know if I assume he's been in both clubhouses, so he can give us that'd be funny if they moved to a minor league stadium. They're like, this is so much nicer. This is so much better than what we were dealing with in Oakland. Yeah. Meanwhile, as we said, Mariners, 8 straight series wins in a row. They are 20-13. They're in first place in the AL West, 2 games ahead of these A's. I almost said it again. Just by way of comparison, after 33 games last year, they were 18-15. So they're off to a much better start. And now I asked the question here because yesterday I was almost kind of shocked, like, they lost?
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird. Like, I just expected them to just go out, and then once they won the series, it's, mission accomplished. But I just I'm getting conditioned to expect them to win every night.
Yeah, well, and especially, you've got that, it was really a mini sweep of the Angels but in there, but
still would have been even a 3-game series. That's a series win.
Yeah, and every time I'm like, wait, is it 6 or 7? No, it's 8. And when it was 6, I was like, is it 4? It's just hard to believe what's going on right now. The only thing that's kind of deflating is your stat here after 33 games last year, they were 18-15.
Yeah.
This feels a lot better. This feels a lot different.
Well, they're doing it so differently.
Yeah. But they're getting it from lots of different. Here's what I would say is that the coaching is kicking in. And I think what they're trying to do at the plate is finally starting to absorb. And I don't think that, Scott Service and everybody else that was involved are bad coaches or anything, but they just didn't have the right message. So for whatever reason, these guys are receiving it because, man, I mean, I don't want to read all your stats here, but on-base percentage, holy smokes.
Yeah, I was going through all the they're doing it in the
Number
polar opposite fashion than what they did last year, where the offense just couldn't get anything going. They were really good at nothing. I think they were good at walks last year. I think that was like one of the good categories for them, if you will.
They were really good at strikeouts last year.
Yeah, it's striking out a lot.
They were at the top of the list.
That's right. That's right. They've dropped way down there. But I was looking at just different categories, whatever category you guys want to look at for this offense. The only category I could find where they were outside of the top 10 is batting average. They're number 14. They're hitting 245 as a team. So they're 14th. Still above the median, above the middle. We talked about them. Just get to close to mediocre. And
we didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
We weren't asking for top 5.
Currently, this is as they sit today. On-base percentage, they are number 2 in all of baseball at 339 as a team. They're number 8 in slugging at 420. They're number 5 in OPS, 759. They're number 1 in walks in all of Major League Baseball, 142. They're number 4 in home runs. They are tied for 8th in runs scored, 168. RBIs, they're 9th, 160. And strikeouts, this is where you want that low number, they're 18th. 18th. So they were sitting top 5, top 3 all past 2 years in strikeouts, striking out a ton. They are currently 18th. So you look at it, I mean, this is across the board a top 10 offense in baseball. And you didn't really add anybody. I mean, Polanco is not an addition. He was here last year. Mm-hmm. You're getting an entirely different version, certainly. But your big addition, as far as a face that wasn't here last year, and we'll remove the young kids for a moment, Donovan Solano, who's been an unmitigated disaster to this point, and Rowdy Tellez. Am I missing anybody?
That's a big part of this offense.
I mean, that was brought in from the outside. I mean, Rivas was called up. Obviously, Ben Williamson has been called up.
Wasn't Rivas here last year?
Yeah, he was here for parts of it. But, I mean, just in terms of, just new faces that you brought in from the outside. I don't count Polanco. He was here last year.
Right.
Technically, he was a free agent signing. But he was a body that was already here. So you brought in Donnie Barrels, who the Barrels are gone. I'm waiting for those to show up.
Mike says that it's an ironic nickname now.
Is it? It is. Should
like
be.
when you call a big, big guy tiny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jumbo shrimp.
Sorry, Donovan.
Yeah, well, it's been. We can talk about him in a bit, but Tellez has come up with some big moments here and there. But overall, I think he's still hitting under 200. He's not, So it's been amazing to watch what they've been able to do, considering you didn't flip this offense by bringing in this big bat from the outside who's been a big contributor, or a couple of bats. No, they haven't. What you brought in hasn't really amounted to much, but it's amazing that, a healthy J.P. Crawford, a healthy Jorge Polanco, Cal Raleigh being Cal Raleigh, and them getting it done with offense with, Leo Rivas has a 500 on base. Yeah. I don't think he's going to stay there, but he's been a huge part of it. The guy's on base every other at bat. Ben Williamson has been a breath of fresh air, great defense, giving you some big moments offensively. We'll see as the league adjusts to him. Can he keep it up? But just in totality, looking at all those numbers, it's a top 10 offense. Could you have imagined that when you looked at what they did in the offseason and going in? I would have bet against that every single day in Vegas. Give me the odds that they end up a top 10 offense. I'll take whatever the numbers are that say they're not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, and also here's why I like saying that it's the coaching kicking in finally, and they're getting the right message and everything, because if it's just that they just happened into this and just, by chance, let's say that, Ben Williamson, who's hitting 242, all of a sudden he becomes a rookie, like we thought he would be, or, you don't start to get, maybe JP cools down or something like that. But I like to think that it's just the approach at the plate, and for the guys that were here, it just seems like it's like a breath of fresh air. For the guys that were here last year, just because it seems like they were just getting too many messages, too much, overcoaching. Trying to think
the Brad
of this,
Brown, Jared DeHart combo it didn't work.
Yeah,
man. It was very convoluted. When we heard, was it Brant Brown we played some audio of, and he was on a podcast talking to somebody explaining his hitting philosophy, and Like if my eyes rolled back in my head, I'm like, I don't know what he's saying here. I don't understand what's happening. But
well, and that's the same thing. Coaching, it's just like like I always say, the example of giving directions to someone. I mean, you want the least words possible, and it sounds like they've just entirely trimmed that down, and it just making sense to everyone. So
Mastrobuoni, there's another new face. Sorry, I forgot him.
That's right.
Thank the texters for that. But no, you're right. Just keeping it simple. I was trying to picture being in a hitters meeting or something with Brad Brown after hearing that, going, man, how do you not step up to the plate and be confused? I mean, there was just a lot of stuff, and I'm sure he knows hitting, certainly, but man, that's there was a lot happening, and you're just seeing guys now. It's not impacted every guy. We're still waiting for Julio, who was kind of quietly coming out of it. He had like a 7-game hit streak. He had hits in 10 of his previous 11. He cooled off a bit in this series, but. Luke Raley was scuffling too. It hasn't hit everybody yet. You're waiting for that, and you just I guess the most surprising part of it is that this is all happening when there's so much attrition with the team in the way of injury. I mean, we've certainly talked about Kirby. Logan's out. You just got Matt Brash back. You're without Dylan Moore. You're without Victor Robles. You're without Luke Raley. You're without Ryan Bliss. We'll see what happens with Rosarena. He was grabbing that hamstring yesterday. I haven't seen. Do we have an update on him? Have we?
No, the lineup's not out yet because it's a later start. So 7:05 first pitch. So I think it should be coming out shortly. Dan Wilson speaks. What time does he speak at? He speaks at 4:50. So I think we'll have an update by then.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a lot of injuries you're dealing with there, and here you are, 8 series wins in a row, despite all of that. And then you flip the page and you look at the pitching ranks. So I went through all those offensive categories. The only one that they weren't top 10 is batting average. So looking at the pitching ranks, this is in totality a mediocre rotation, statistically speaking. And again, it gets a bit twisted with that first start from Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans. I mean, you've had a couple of things that inflated numbers, but ERA, the rotation is number 12. In baseball at 3.72. WHIP, they're number 17 in baseball, 1.29. Earned runs, they're number 11. Strikeouts, they're number 21 in baseball. Walks, they're tied for 15th. Opposing average, they're 18th. Hits given up, they're 15th. I mean, that's not what you thought you were coming into the season with. Again, you acknowledge your 2 huge arms are not part of that right now. So that goes a long way into getting here. But where Bryce Miller goes tonight, Bryce Miller doesn't have a quality start yet.
Yeah.
He's been scuffling. So you haven't had what you thought on either side in a good way on offense. It's just light years better than you expected. And the rotation because of injury and some because, like Bryce hasn't really found it yet. It's the rotation as a whole isn't what you expected. To this point.
No, it really isn't. And this is something, and Bryce Miller, to put, the attention on him, remember during spring training, I mean, there were people talking about this guy as a Cy Young candidate.
Yeah. And we talked, who did we talk to that said that? From
Dempster.
Ryan Dempster.
Yeah. Guy who pitched for 16 years in Major League Baseball, and he just and remember the talk was that he's got like 7 pitches that he wants to go to, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe he needs to kind of fine tune his outings, but yeah, I mean you're getting by with the offense, and this is like an entire swap, really. I mean the pitching just hasn't really stood out. It hasn't been, and it feels okay. It's when you're putting up runs. I mean, that's something. I mean, look, people love offense, and that's why they shortened the game and everything else and all the rules. They're just trying to get more because pitching was really, far ahead of hitting. And now you see this with this team, man. It's pretty amazing. But what do you think the thing is with Bryce Miller? I'm wondering. It could be just a slow start, but maybe it's that he's got. Trying to do too much, Yeah,
I mean, he's heard what people have said, people like Dempster and others have said about him and about this rotation, and maybe there's a pressure to live up to that. I mean, I'm trying to get into his head. I have no idea, but he's still a young guy who had his first full season last year, and was tremendous. Finished the year with a sub-3 ERA. I mean, he was outstanding. Him and Wu both. But maybe there's part of him. I'm developing my 7th pitch. I'm gonna be too fine. I'm trying to be too fine. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening out there. I know he had physically he said his back kind of locked up on him in the last start, I believe.
That's right.
So maybe there's some of that. Maybe there's some of just trying to live up to this idea that we're all going to go out there and be Cy Young candidates and we're going to dominate every time. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he does tonight because he's the only guy in the rotation, of the regulars that hasn't given you a quality start yet.
Right. Yeah, but with the offense, I mean, picking it up like this. Remember after the series, and was it the last game that of the Giant series that Robles got hurt? I think was that the very last?
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, they get entirely swept down there, and then he goes instantly into the wall and the net and all that, and you could see that was like going to be a huge problem. And yeah, for all these other and really the pitching somewhat. I mean, these numbers aren't terrible. It's just not what we expect, right?
Right.
But yeah, everybody is just picked up, and it's been really nice to see. But the pitching mediocrity, I mean, you don't notice it, right? Because your offense is so good. But and can you imagine? I don't know if this is going to happen right away, but like usually somebody comes off the injured list, and for Kirby and Gilbert when they get back, maybe there's a game or two where they're not quite themselves. It takes them a while to get back, but it looks like you're going to get both of those guys back, and so yeah, I mean it's just. You got the Rock in there, so I feel like there's really good things to come as far as the pitching goes. So even if these offensive numbers that we've been talking about drop off a little bit, you're going to get that rotation back intact here soon, and they can start rolling. Then we'll see what happens with the offense.
Well, I sort of expect, and I did the video today, the Bob's Baseball Breakdown, which will come out later today, but there was kind of that question like, well, is this who this team is? Looking at how they're performing now. And I'm like, well, no, I kind of expect that the pitching's going to take a leap forward, especially when you get the two of your main arms in there, and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby. And I just expect that they're going to be close. Are they going to match last year? Maybe not, but I think they're going to be decidedly better than they've been as a group right now. Mm-hmm. The offense will probably cool off a little bit. I mean, again, Rivas is not going to end the season with a 500 on base. Polanco, I would imagine, is going to cool off a bit. Maybe JP cools off a bit. But in that, you're hoping that the other guys will kind of swat. You're kind of trading play. You're not going to have all 9 in your lineup just on fire at the same time. It's just not how it goes. Right. So somebody takes a step back. Hopefully the other guy that's kind of been, treading water takes that step forward, whether it's Julio, whether it's when Rayleigh comes back, whether it's Rosarena in terms of his average. You look at it, he's a guy who's come up with, we talked about it, huge hits, huge moments, winning games with hits and home runs and walks. But in totality, he's not been tearing the cover off the ball. Mm-hmm. He's doing a great job walking. I think he leads the team in walks. His on base is great. Talking about a Rosarena, but he's a guy that maybe the hits start becoming more frequent for him and Julio and others that haven't been hitting.
How worried are you about that hammy?
I'm a little concerned.
I am
too. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, because hamstrings linger.
Please no more.
Yeah. I mean, you're just...
Man, it's been ridiculous.
Yeah. You're 33 games into the season, and the list keeps getting longer in terms of who's available and who's not. And it was great to see Brash back. Really great to see him back out there, and the velocity was there. And I like that Aaron Goldsmith on the broadcast, they were talking about saying something about command, like, yeah, it takes a while to get your command back after you've been out. And he said, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of Brash saying, well, command's never really been my thing, or something like that. Like, I'm not really worried about that. I'm not been a big command guy or something like that. He's just going up there, throwing hard, and hoping the ball goes where he planned.
Well, he's such a weapon. But as you can probably guess, Bob, my moment of the weekend was Cal getting. I texted you guys because you got to an 0-2 count. And he swung at a pitch, and he steps out of the box and berates himself. You can read his lips, like, you idiot, what the heck are you doing? And then he works a couple more balls and then hits one out, grand slam. Just loved seeing that. And that whole, like, just the drama of that, of like, look, Cal's yelling at himself right now. he's MFing himself. And he just, gets that grand slam, and that was just awesome, and it was a great weekend. I mean, it kind of sucks that they lost, yesterday, just because it always kind of takes you down a little bit. But 8 series in a row, that is incredible.
Let's make it 9 starting tonight. All right, let's take 2.
Well, the Rangers fired their offensive coordinator. Yes, they've had that position since 2021. Donnie Ecker, they fired him yesterday. They've moved very quickly. So about an hour ago, they announced that they've hired Brett Boone as their hitting coach.
I didn't know Brett Boone was looking to coach. I know he's doing a podcast, but I didn't know he was looking to be a hitting instructor, so I guess good for him. Interesting, the Rangers fired their guy after they put up a bunch of runs in a game finally.
Yeah, it was kind of weird timing as far as that goes. But, man, you go back and look at their production offensively, just terrible. They're number 29 right now. They have 113 runs, but you look in the last, 10 games, and it's 1 or 2. It's ridiculous.
Well, as Bob mentioned to start the show here, Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 NFL Draft. So the earliest that Seattle could host would be 2028 because Pittsburgh is hosting next year. And the Ravens made a pretty big move a few minutes ago. They've released kicker Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, the DC thing we'll talk about, and they're expecting over a million to attend it when it shows up there. As far as Justin Tucker goes, what does he have? 15, 16 accusations of misconduct with massage therapists. That seems to be the popular, when guys
creepy thing to do.
Yeah, when guys get in trouble, it's always with a massage therapist. It seems like so. He's apparently no different. And at one point, the most accurate kicker in the history of the game. I'm not sure where his percentage sits right now. I know he slumped a bit, but moving on from somebody who at one point was considered one of the greats.
That's the thing you always worry about with and this is why the Seahawks do the extensive, research that they do on everybody's background. And, I would have never thought that, just having heard him interviewed and everything that he had that creepy obsession. But, it's just hard to imagine. And, as you mentioned, you had that from another player, and it's just a very bizarre thing. And, look at for him, I mean, he had just an amazing career going. And then, you think you're going to get away with that? It's just stupid.
Take 2 is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, we got our first look at the Seahawks rookies on the field this weekend. We'll break down what stood out. That's coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Anwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. We had Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey, and he's also a Swedish patient, along with Dr. Landis, and he's from Swedish Cyberknife. And they were in studio last week, and a couple things that really stood out about Swedish Cyberknife treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions. So Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, just Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full-time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he was able to remain comfortable during treatment, wearing street clothes, didn't experience any side effects other than just mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods where you have to have surgery or have to have a catheter. I mean, it's night and day. And also, it was just really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in such high regard and spoke with incredible respect, and he should. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. So we talk about building a sports team and trying to find superstars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state. You don't need a physician's referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimers.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used. And terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park. The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett. This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. The Seahawks had their rookie minicamp over the weekend, and Dave, you were out there taking a look at the happenings. What was going on out there?
Yeah, Dave, you were there.
Dave, you were there.
Saw it.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real.
It was. It was amazing. I had a nice little chat with Mr. and Mrs. Zabel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told my wife, I go, yeah, I'm to the point now where I go down and talk to the parents of the kids. But, yeah, really nice people, just totally salt of the earth that you would expect.
Were they younger than you?
About the same age.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger.
Dad have a mustache?
He did not have a mustache.
Okay.
You can tell it was his dad, though. He does look a lot like him.
Was he holding a bush light?
Yeah, no, just really nice people. But, that was kind of one thing that stood out to me. Like, Pearson was telling me that they brought in like 41 extra guys. They have the free agents that they signed that were undrafted, plus the draft choices. And then they brought in, I think it was another 35, 40 guys.
And all are rookies, right? Are there any like free agents that are just getting a tryout out there that are veterans, or is it all?
I don't know that there were. I don't think many of those guys played. There was one guy out there that had actually played somewhere else, and we were talking about, and I can't remember what his name was, but he had actually played. So, yeah.
So he wasn't a rookie.
It's a mixture. He's not a rookie, yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, you were just trying to fill, spots, basically. They put helmets on every one of those guys, and they have a whole, all this technology to fit the right helmet and everything. They put some kind of thing that Mike thinks looks like a chainmail from when the day of the Knights or whatever, back in those days.
It does. You agreed to me.
Yeah, show it to Matt. See what he says. Okay. But yeah, I mean,
show it to our resident nerd.
Yeah, let's make sure it passes muster here. But yeah, I mean, just getting all of that together, it's just there was a ton of players out there. I mean, I think there was like 60. So, yeah, I mean, but then the other thing that kind of stood out, Bob, and this is something we always talk about, that, when you make that jump from college to the pros, it's totally different when you get to practice. And for Mike McDonald, it's like a big classroom, basically. And they didn't do a whole lot of live, they're not in pads or anything like that, 7-on-7 and stuff like that. There was a little bit of that, but mostly it was just teaching, just out there on the field. But you could see, man, and I think Benton, the line coach, Brent, showed us there was like a clip where he's like, that's not even close. No. Shorter step. No, this, that. And I was watching those guys work over there, those offensive linemen, and I'm like, yeah, I feel bad for them because their eyes are being opened right now to this is how it is in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have to take exact steps, and you have to, be lower. And, that was the biggest thing for me, was just lowering my hips and just realizing you have to play low. So, yeah, it was that kind of stuff. It was pretty impressive. Everything went well. I would say this for Mike McDonald. Last year, when they had the rookie minicamp, it was a bit of a cluster. There's guys running around and, disorganization, and this thing was run really tightly. And, yeah, it looked good. There was a couple of guys that I looked at out there a couple of linebackers. De'Aaron Jackson, the kid from Kentucky, he's got kind of an unusual body type, but he looked really good. And if you go and look at his film at Kentucky, good player. And then the other guy, Jackson, I'm blanking on his last name because I lost my roster. Damn it, I had it and I was writing notes on it. But, yeah, his first name is Jackson. He's out of UNLV. And it was the guy that Moyer talked about, inside linebacker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is kind of important because, they don't really have a lot of depth there as far as, they didn't really address that as much. But yeah, I mean, you could see a couple of guys stand out, but mostly it's like walk-through stuff and everything. So it looked to me like they got a lot done. But it's quite a feat for like the equipment guy, Eric Kennedy. I mean, he's got to fit all of those guys, and most of them probably won't be back. So, but yeah, you just looking at the offensive linemen and watching them, they're kind of lost right now. So I think it would be hard to judge what you saw, but yeah, it was a kind of a theme of big, nasty dudes, including our guy Nick Emanwari, who is just looks like Cam Chancellor out there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is he verbal like Spoon? Is he out there talking, or is he?
I didn't see a lot of that.
Okay,
didn't see a lot of that, and I don't know if Spoon talked right away. I think. After he started
I felt like he started talking the second his name was called in the draft. But back to the O-line, Mike McDonald was talking afterwards and breaks down exactly what he saw from the O-line draft picks out there.
Yeah, it was a great group overall. Really excited about our draft picks. Hard to tell, like give it a fair evaluation right now, but you can see the skill set, see the movement, see the things we've seen on tape, see the attitude. We'll work the finish and all the stuff when that becomes time, but a really good first step with those guys. But it's fun. It's fun to see it come to life.
So yeah, it's probably, as you said, they're not hitting. There's no pads, so it's probably hard to get a clear evaluation of anybody. But did you zoom in? Did you key in on a couple of guys like Zabel or maybe like Jalen Milroe, who a lot of people are very curious about?
Yeah, Milroe looked great. I mean, he obviously is thrown against lesser competition, but he looked like he was totally in command. Didn't see him run or anything like that, which everybody's talking about that, but throws a nice ball. Yeah, and then
some zip on it.
Yep, and then you look at the offensive linemen. It was kind of interesting. They had Gray Zabel, Bryce Cabledew, and Mason Richmond. They're 76, 77, 78. They gave Hutch's number to Gray Zabel, but when you watch Zabel, he is just so balanced. Like it's almost like you can't tell looking at his lower body whether he's run blocking or pass blocking. He's just so balanced and steady. And like I said, my comp to him was Bruce Matthews, who was just, you couldn't beat him, couldn't get around him. So, those guys look good. And that's probably in those kinds of things is the easiest part to sort of recognize, because you don't really know, the quality of that pass and the receiver. And, if a guy picks off a pass, sometimes it's a really crappy throw. And, because you have rookies out there. But if you look at the linemen and just look at their pad level, which they're not in pads, but you know what I mean? And then just their hips and their feet, that kind of stuff, that really shows up. And it just looks like this is going to be a much improved offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same without having seen that. I just feel like, these guys, whether they were young guys from last year, they got a year under their belt.
Yeah.
You got a new focus on it. You got a coach who's not being rushed. Last year, as you talked about, at this time, everything felt kind of haphazard out there, people running everywhere. They were kind of like, I was always equated to cramming for a test. Like, okay, we got to get ready. We got to study. We got to get ready. They just didn't have the luxury of time having been here. Now they got a year under their belt, the coaching staff. You got a new coordinator. I'd be stunned if this O-line is not better. And I know that's not setting the bar very high because they weren't very good. But I expect, regardless of who the five are on that line, to be noticeably better. I'm not saying they're going to be elite, but I would be stunned if it looked like it did last year.
Yeah, no, I would too. And, I just think, it's kind of like what we talk about the Mariner offense. A lot of times it's just the message, right? The messaging, like, how do you do this? Like, your coach has a way that he wants a guy to play. How do you verbalize that? If he's no good at that, then it's not worth much.
Yeah.
Same thing with hitting and just what your approach is. And so, and it's cool to see 76, 77, 78, all those guys. They're all listed as guards. But don't forget about the guys that not only you have returning, but then also some of the young guys from last year, like Michael Jarrell.
Yeah.
Just Christian Haynes. I mean, Anthony Bradford.
Lamea.
Yeah. We'll see how much that really takes effect. But I think these offensive linemen are going to love playing for Benton. It just sounds like, first of all, he sounds kind of gruff and like, an old school. He sounds like Joe Sellers back at Worcester High.
Which immediately Dave said, I love this guy.
I love him.
I love him.
But like I said, he was screaming out, that's not even close. No. I mean, he wasn't berating him, but it was like, nope, that's not it. So very picky about that.
All right, good stuff. Coming up, the Mariners' offense has been great, to say the least, but they've got one lingering problem that might not have an easy solution. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Nicky Manwari, how do you see them using him?
I think they'd love to put him at that second level. Does it allow them a little freedom, Salk, to put Spoon back outside a corner, right? Where you can have some real strength with Reek and him. And this dude around the line of scrimmage, cleaning stuff up on aisle 9. Yeah, man, there's a lot of excitement about just molding that kind of talent.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45. Answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Dave Wyman joined by the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, what would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife. I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly at swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 3 o'clock, Ryan Rowland-Smith will join us for his weekly appearance. We'll talk some Mariner baseball with Ryan, who's doing a great job on the broadcast. You guys can text in 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. And we brought this up a little bit earlier and talking about, if you guys are just tuning in, we were going through some of the numbers I was looking up last night on this Mariners offense. And this is a top 10 offense in baseball, which is just weird to say. When you go category by category by category, the only one they were outside of the top 10 was average. They're 14th. But one of the we talked about, and they're doing this with virtually no new faces, really, that are a big part of it, if you will. Texters brought up Mastrobuoni. I forgot about him. He's not tearing the cover off the ball. He's not lighting it up here and there. But you know, one of the new acquisitions was sort of the replacement for Justin Turner, the veteran presence in that clubhouse, and that was Donovan Solano, a.k.a. Donnie Barrels, according to, what is that, on Pro Baseball Reference?
Yeah.
Is his nickname. Donovan Solano, to this point, I'm sure we haven't spoken to him. I'm sure he's a great guy and has been good throughout his career. Right now, he's hitting a $140. He's got a 154 on base, a 160 slug, and a 314 OPS. In case you're wondering, those are all really bad. He's got 1 walk, 14 strikeouts, 1 RBI, 1 extra base hit, a double. It's bad. I mean, now granted, he's not in there every day. He hasn't had a ton of opportunity, but to this point, anytime he's in there, I'm going, why is he in the lineup? What is he bringing that somebody else is not bringing? If other than a day off or injury, and he could get pressed into action more than maybe we'd like to see at some point because there's so many guys getting dinged up, as we talked about earlier. I don't know why you run him out there unless Edgar and Seitzer are seeing something in batting practice and saying, no, he's right there. He's about to blow up. I mean, he's a veteran, so this is a guy who knows. He's not overwhelmed. He knows how to play baseball. I don't expect him to be an all-star. I expect him to be a guy who would get on base. We looked at his career numbers. He's not a guy that is bringing pop. He doesn't have any power, but he was an on-base guy. And to this point, when he's in that lineup, I kind of just shake my head going, why? What are we doing?
Is he walked 1 time?
1 walk, 14 strikeouts.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got an on base of 154. It's not good. Again, limited opportunity, but it's to the point where I'm going, okay, are you going to commit to trying to get him rolling, to get a rhythm going with him? And if you do, at whose expense are you doing that? Because right now, as it sits, I don't want to mess with a lineup that's functioning really well for the most part top to bottom. And I feel like when he gets in there, nothing good's happening.
No, it's not at all. Man, yeah. And, yeah, it's kind of a cruel joke to say it's an ironic nickname, calling him Donnie Barrels. But he's been in the league for 12 years, you know. So, I mean, I think that there's more to come here, Bob. He can't really go any lower. But it's pretty amazing that, you know, if you would have said, you know, first list all of the ridiculous injuries, Robles, Bliss, Dylan Moore, Luke Raley, Polanco in and out of it. There's no way you would say that this is a winning team that has won 8 series with a guy like this batting.
Yeah.
Up at the plate. Yeah. I mean, so I do think that there's obviously more to come from, because he can't go much lower. But yeah, I mean, it's also like kind of a curiosity too to me that you have a guy like that is in your lineup, and you've won 8 series in a row. It's incredible, because this is an incredibly hot team right now.
Yeah, and I guess the saving grace is he's not in every day. He's not an everyday player. They're spotting him here and there. And to his defense, I don't know how he's expected to get a rhythm going when you're playing every third game or whatever.
True.
So to be fair to him, he's not getting the opportunity to develop a rhythm or, find it. But, man, it's just when he's out there, I'm just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Because I haven't even seen him hit the ball hard. Like, whether he lines out or flies out to the warning, I just haven't even seen him square up a ball. I'm certain he has. He's only got, I think, 7 hits. So
you are correct.
Yeah. So one of them maybe he hit hard.
Yeah.
But maybe some of the outs he's hit harder. I don't know. I'm not trying to rag on him. I'm sure he's a great guy, and he's in the league for that long for a reason.
Right.
The league will find you and get you out when you are no longer productive.
Yeah, and the saving grace for him, too, is that Perry Hill loved him when they signed him. So, because everybody was kind of like, Donovan, no, Solano, I'd never heard of him. But, yeah, so that part. I mean, and I don't know where this ranks as far as for, Major League Baseball. He's 50 at-bats.
Yeah.
I mean, should he be there? Like,
that's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be fair to him because it really is a small sample size. But at this point, I'm like, all right, when you put him in there, what's the gain? Is it you're doing it because, all right, here they're bringing a lefty in. All right, so you want a right-handed bat. I'd almost rather see the lefty that was in the lineup hit because I feel like they got a better shot.
Yeah.
Than outside of Polanco, who we saw him go up against the lefty one time this year, and that didn't look good at all. He looked like a guy who was.
Oh yeah, he looked lost. I mean,
it was awful.
Yeah.
And then you expect it. He never sees a lefty.
Right.
He's a switch hitter, so he's never seeing that. So I get it, but yeah, Solano is he's one of those guys that they brought in. He was going to be that veteran presence. He was going to be that Justin Turner, and to this point, he's given you absolutely zero.
Well, and like I mentioned, all of the injuries, and would have said, that you never would have guessed that they had won eight in a row, 8 series in a row. But if you would have said, yeah, Solano is going to be batting 140 with 1 walk and 14 strikeouts and 1 RBI, you're like, this is a losing team.
Yeah,
but somehow he's finding his way to the plate. So
here and there,
yeah,
and it's a good thing. I mean, it's to Jerry's and Justin's credit, Polanco has been amazing. Masterboni's been fine. You didn't expect anything big from him. He's been serviceable.
Williamson's been.
Yeah, I don't give them credit. I'm just talking about guys they brought in from the outside.
Oh, I get you.
Williamson was part of your minor league system. I'm just looking at from the outside. I don't count Polanco because he was here last year. So it really is Masterboni. It's Donovan Solano. It's Rowdy Tellez. Let's be honest. It's not a who's who.
Right.
You're not going, oh, okay, now we're cooking. Now we're talking. These are vets that you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're spot fillers.
But I mean, I guess if you're Jerry, you're sitting there going, okay, with the budget that I have, these are the best guys I can get.
Yeah.
And they've, worked out. I don't know. I don't want to say that Donnie Barrels has worked out, but it's not like, oh my God, every time he gets up to the plate, you're like, oh, this is a huge liability. We're never going to win this game. I mean, there's always
I just feel like
it's
an out. When he steps up there, I feel like, all right, well, there's 2 outs. All right, so this will end the inning. That's kind of
what it has been.
Yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. And hopefully he turns it around. I still certainly allow for that. He's got the career record that tells you he's decidedly better than what he's been, but he's just a guy, when I see him in the lineup, I see him step up the plate, my first thought is, how come? But who's not available? Who else is not? Is somebody hurt? What's going on? All right, coming up, there's a lot that's going well for this Mariner team right now. We're going to talk about all of that with Ryan Rowland-Smith. He's going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach. Head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Right now, the Home Depot has spring deals under $20. So no matter what you're working on, the deals are blooming at the Home Depot with savings on plants, flowers, soil, and more. Then light up your outdoor space with Hampton Bay string lights. Was $34.97, now only $19.99. And get the grill going with 2 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal. Was $19.98, now only $17.88. Don't miss spring deals under $20 now through May 7th at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, valid on select items only.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at proscope.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's proscope.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners get back to business today. They begin a 3-game series with the A's. They'll send Bryce Miller to the hill. Bryce Miller looking for his first quality start of the season. You can catch all the action of that one right here beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show, 7:05 first pitch. Meanwhile, in the world of the NFL, the Ravens have parted ways with their kicker. Their longtime kicker, Justin Tucker, was released today. Eric DaCosta, the executive vice president and GM, said, quote, sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we had to make a tough decision to release Justin Tucker.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
He's here, everybody. We talk to him each and every Monday. That smiling face, look at him, just full of sunshine, just our own ray of sunshine. Ryan Rowland-Smith is here with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Who goes out for Father's Day?
Oh, that was me going for Father's Day. I went and saw Top Gun. That's what it was. And I had a college kid here, and I'm like, hey, listen, buddy. I've heard that opening that many times. You're babysitting tonight. You've never done it before. You're looking after the kids because I'm going to go see Top Gun 2. I loved it. I love Top Gun. How good is it?
Nice.
Hey, we've been talking about this Mariner team, obviously. 8 series wins in a row. And it's amazing, Ryan, to consider they've done it without George Kirby, without Logan Gilbert, right, without Victor Robles and Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss and Luke Raley. And, I mean, it's just one after another after another. It's just, what do you make of what you're seeing there? Because I went through all these numbers last night looking at the offense. This is a top 10 offense outside of batting average. Outside of batting average, this is they're a top 10 in every category you can think of. And then you look at the pitching, same thing, going through each and every category, going, they kind of rank middle of the pack to lower in every category. And it makes sense. You're without Kirby and Gilbert, and you've got, Hancock and Logan Evans in there. But it's amazing despite all of that. They've won 8 series in a row.
Right. And, look, you mentioned, Kirby, Logan Gilbert. And you're talking about the rotation. They're not even close to hitting their stride rotation-wise. Not even close. Right. Especially, too, look, we talk all the time about innings per start. I look at that. That's a big one for me because that's how this team, in regards to the pitching, that's what they're built on, is getting deep with one or two runs, and that's how you're going to have to survive because you're not going to get a whole lot of offense. Well, they were around 5 innings per start, right? Bryce Miller, who I think you mentioned right before I came on, still looking for a quality start.
Right.
So you look at that. You've got Gilbert. You've got Kirby missing. You've got Bryce Miller. You've got Luis Castillo, who's really very close to sort of hitting that Luis Castillo level. So they're doing it without their pitching. So it's pretty wild. But they're projected to be like just under 100 wins or something right now. They had a really good month of April. The injuries do concern me a little bit because when you do look up and down the lineup, it's a little top heavy besides the good at bats down the bottom in regards to production. That's for sure. But they're playing really good baseball. And I hate to sound super cliche, but there's no other way to put it. They're just little things, man. There's a 3-2 count where you're putting a guy on the ropes. Rivas did this yesterday to DeGrom. Then you get a pitch middle, and then you do something with it. At this point last year, and as we got into May and into June, you get a 3-2 count, put someone on the ropes, and it's a swing and miss at a fastball 95 in the middle of the plate. And so that's the difference. And then on the bases, they're running the bases way smarter, and they're taking extra bases like crazy. I was about to dive in and look at how many extra bases they've taken. Because that's another thing. They didn't do that last year. They were just station to station. A couple guys were running. A couple guys were questioning if Julio was going to shut it down. Base running. That's how sort of limited they were in regards to running bases. Different story this year. So they're doing those little things. Enough offense to carry until that pitching gets into a good rhythm.
We were just talking about Donnie Barrels, and what do you make of it? What do you make of it, Ryan? Look, he's you look at his batting average last year, it's cut in half this year. And Bob was kind of making I think he made the comment, like, when he's out there, you're like, why?
Yeah.
Because why? But look, I mean, at some point he's got to, you would think, unless this is the end for him, but I mean, he's getting to the point where, I mean, like I said, half of what it was last year. Maybe this is just it for him, or do you expect to see what have you seen anything you liked?
Well, man, from what we sort of knew about, Donovan Solano, for those who don't know who Donnie Barrels is, coming into this season, it was like, good bat to ball, good contact guy. Professional. Was he 37 years old? Yeah. Good clubhouse guy. Yet to be seen. Very yet to be seen. And this is not something where it's like, oh, hey, look, I thought I was coming in here to play every day. It would be the super utility. He knew exactly, what the situation was. So, not saying that's what he's saying, but that's kind of. I'm looking at it thinking, well, let's say the team was 100% healthy. Especially with Rayleigh, who can, by the way, transition from infield to outfield. Obviously with Dylan Moore, who can transition to anywhere in the field. And then you've got Miles Mastrobuoni, who's shown some plus moments, even on the left side of the infield, not just playing second base. You're looking at all that going, well, hold on, where does this kind of fit in? Now, he has to play because of some of the injuries and whatnot. But just from a place from going from 2024 to 2025, the things he did well in 2024, he made good contact. The chase was down, didn't swing and miss. All these things that you look at and go, wow, hey, after 2024, even after 2023, let's bring these guys in. Let's fill up the lineup with guys who, what I talked about earlier, 3-2 count, do something. We're just not seeing that with him at all. Whether that's something where it's because of the lack of game time to kick it off, or 37, or he didn't have a really productive offseason, whatever it is. We're just not seeing it. And so it's going to be a tough choice to make once you do get all the health back. Because, man, you've got some guys who, look, Ben Williamson, we didn't anticipate that he would be such an impact, and now he's the everyday third baseman. Leo Rivas, we didn't anticipate the impact he's made, and he's been a pest down the bottom of the lineup. That's a huge impact. Miles Mastrobuoni, I'll throw him in there even. I'm talking about some of the healthy players. Then you've got guys who are coming back. So it's going to be a tough decision to make, because I'm not keeping Solano on a roster besides just because I can option someone down. You just can't afford to. The offense is carrying this team right now, and you got to keep up with the guys who are doing some good things offensively.
One of the categories I was looking at, Ryan, is walks. They are number one in Major League Baseball in walks. Yeah. And it's interesting to see even guys who you look at like, I brought up Randy Arozarena. You look at his average, he's hitting 224. You're like, that's not great. He's had some huge moments, certainly. He's got a 366 on base, leads the team in walks with 22 walks. So, but as a team, I mean, Cal's got 20, JP's got 20, Julio's got 16. I mean, we're seeing a lot less of the expansion of the strike zone that we saw last year. A lot of the chase is gone. I think they're ranked 18th in strikeouts. They were top 2 or 3 the past 2 years throughout the entire season. So is that the biggest impact that you see from Seitzer and Edgar, is just the patience up there and making that pitcher work? What are you seeing that's leading to this? Yeah, I think, first of all, you don't want a situation where if you have a young player, and say I'm using Ben Williamson here, or even I'll throw Rivas in there as well, who come into the fold
and say, look, this is a one-size-fits-all. This is how we want you to hit. The thing that I think that Edgar and look, Kevin Seitzer, man, I know we love talking about Edgar. We don't give Kevin Seitzer enough love, surely. I mean, I know you guys do because you guys are awesome, and you give credit to the right people. I get it. But overall, man, and again, nothing against Edgar, but Kevin Seitzer, there's a reason he was with the Braves for a decade, and they had some offensive juggernauts as a team in those years. And there's a reason why when you watch him interact with players, understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are, there's a buy-in from it. Now, in regards to the dominating the zone, the Mariners obviously on the pitching side, but also on the hitting side. Well, again, all right, good pitch selection, recognition, and all those things. That's great. But if you are not comfortable or don't have the athleticism or whatever it is to get 97, which has got right on at the top of the fastball, what's the point? Get after it early. Now, what happens is, too, I think what happens, too, if you don't sort of fit that mold in regards to the patience, like a JP Crawford's super comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. That's just how he hits. Some guys aren't. So you roll into this going, oh, man, like my pitches per plate appearance, man, I got out quickly on 2 pitches. And because you're in the back of your mind going, I have to do something completely different. What I think that Kevin Seitzer and Edgar, and you guys, I'm sure, have talked about how good the offense has been since Edgar took over. And obviously with Kevin Seitzer this year, which is huge, man, huge for this team. I think what you find, and from what I gather of being around the team, is that put yourself in Leo Rivas' shoes, come into this team and say, look, this is what you do well. This is what we like to do. How about we take this approach? And when you identify what you do well and you can use that, the at-bats are just going to be better because you're going to have way more feel of what pitch you're going to see. And that's, I think, the biggest difference. Look, the contact rate, when you look at some of the contact percentage, that's not that much different to what it was last year. But you mentioned the walks, like they lead the team in walks. The at-bats, pitches per plate appearance is way up there. It's the same as last year. But there's pitch recognition happening on that 6th pitch or 7th pitch of an at-bat, and you know what you're going to see, and you're comfortable and confident knowing you can get to that pitch.
Hey, what do you make of Brett Boone, by the way? Being
how about that? Wow.
new hitting coach down, and that's how bad Texas is. They had to fire their hitting coach. And
man,
have you run into Brett Boone?
Yeah, he was on my show, The Top Step.
Yeah.
The podcast, The Top Step.
Of course.
He was on that last year. Matter of fact, I wrote him a message. I just said congrats because I was hoping he was going to write back and say, hey, you want to jump on the show and tell me all about it? How'd you get the gig? No, but I don't know him that well. I remember being in A-ball, looking up, going, oh, man, that's what that dude's big league. I mean, especially on that 2001 team. I was in Z-ball back then. I was in rookie ball on field 20 at the Peoria Sports Complex, So
is that parking lot?
yeah, with an iron on Mariners jersey, whatever they gave us back in the day. But no, listen, man. Like, first of all, I got a couple things on that. I was like, well, what's his connection here with the Texas Rangers? But then I'm like, hold on a minute. They've got like 3 generations of MLB players. Like, they got connections in 30 teams. Like,
yeah.
They all know someone who knows someone knows someone. Mm-hmm. What I like to, and this is going to make me sound like I'm super salty, but I don't care. I think I may have talked to you guys about seeing Buster Posey take over the Giants and hearing all the feedback from guys in that organization just saying, hey, it's just nice, man. He gets it. Now, I don't know what Brett Boone's like in the cage. No idea. I don't know what his philosophy is. Clueless. But I do love this former players. I'm going to sound old, but it doesn't matter because if you've done it, and Dave, I guarantee, you know this, man, with the coaches you've had with football. When they've done it, they can speak to you a certain way when you're in the heat of the moment, 20 seconds before you're about to get out on the on-deck circle or in that hitters meeting that you're just going to take it on and go, you know what, man, he's been there, he's done it, he's played at that speed. And so I do like the fact that you're starting to see more and more the pendulum swing back to seeing players get these roles, man. I can't help it. I love it. Guys who play at the highest level, there's something to be said. We've seen it with the Mariners, recently. Obviously not Scott Service played at the highest level, had a crazy good career, but seeing Edgar, take over on the hitting side. Kevin Seitzer was a stud hitter. Watching him jump in. So I don't know what his philosophy is, but you know what? I'm sure there's some wisdom there that can help these dudes out.
Hey, what was your takeaway from Matt Brash? He's back. His first appearance. He, a couple of ground ball outs, 1 hit, a strikeout. What did you see there?
Yeah, I one thing with Matt Brash, pre Tommy John, pre any kind of injury, when you look at his, don't want to dive into spin or movement or anything like that. Let's talk about velocity. His velocity starts off at about 80% of his capacity, and then it builds up. So he'll add about 2 or 3, usually pre-Tommy John. This time through, his velocity was down a little bit. Again, he's just first time getting back on the big league field. I had so many people text me saying, "Oh, yeah, it's good to see Matt Brash, but he's not throwing as hard." Like the dude just got back, right? Like he's up. It's unreal. And then, but you look into it, and he has a bit of a progression. It takes him a good couple outings to get that and everything else. Now, I think that first of all, I think it's great to see him back in the bullpen. Bullpen desperately needs that kind of nastiness. I do think though, with the time off and going 70-plus games, major league leader in appearances, how to recover in between outings, how to approach your off-season, all those things have factored into seeing a more, I think, stable Matt Brash who's going to be healthy and who can essentially, once he's 100% ready to roll, a guy who can go out and just snap off a filthy breaking ball and do it 3 days in a row, no problem whatsoever, and feel good about it. I think that's going to be the difference with Matt Brash, but really, really good to see him come back in this bullpen.
Ryan, as always, we appreciate you, man. Great stuff, and look forward to hearing you back. Are you having fun in the booth, by the way? You enjoying
I love
that?
it. I can't wait. I'm doing some radio, this Blue Jays series and the Yankees series, and then I'm back on the TV side when they go to San Diego. Hey, Dave Wyman, what shirt is that? What does that say on that shirt?
It's a performer, Royale.
Okay. Yeah, never heard of him.
It was a girl who was a country western singer, and she was selling T-shirts and I'm like, I'm gonna go support her. And so,
look at you.
Yeah, it was like $15, and I gave them 20, and they were like, okay, thanks.
They didn't even offer you change, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. Dave, were you trying to look cool with all the young kids at the concert, like the hipster musician? Because I'm guilty of it, trust me. I'm like, I know this group. I'm like,
yeah, look, I got the
No,
shirt.
it was at a winery, okay? And she was like a country western performer, so
nice.
I wasn't trying to look cool.
Ryan, we appreciate you, man.
Ryan would have turned this into a tank top by now.
We'll talk to you next week, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
There
you go. There's Ryan Rowland-Smith with us each and every week. Always a great conversation with Ryan. We appreciate that. If you missed any part of it, by the way, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Like I'm trying to cap on you about your shirt.
That's why I know that he played some professional sport, because he always going to give you crap. The people you like, you give them crap. At least I hope he likes me.
I just like that he said, "What's on that shirt?" Never heard of him.
Yeah. That's
and
how
he
it
starts
goes,
cracking
man.
up. He cracks up at his own jokes.
Yeah,
too.
it's like we're back in the clubhouse or something, or the locker room.
All right. If you missed any part of our show, or you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page. You can search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments like our conversations with Ryan Rowland-Smith, with Seahawks players, Mariner players, everything. It's all right there for you. So check it out on X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever you got. We're right there. So looking at the Mariners, they go into this game with the A's. Game one with the A's, they're in first place. They got a 2-game lead over the A's, who are in second place, by the way. How about that?
Yeah.
Playing in a minor league park. You never expect anything from them, but they're always just kind of a nuisance.
Well, it was just such a weird year. Number one, you didn't expect them to go play in Sacramento at some, like minor league park. And then they spent money in the offseason. With free agency. It was unbelievable that they actually did that. They're actually trying.
Yeah, they spent money.
So, yeah, I
still maintain, if I were an Oakland fan, like I lived out there and I supported this team, and this is the year they move out of our city, my city, and then they spent this money. They re-signed Rooker, and they brought in free agent pitchers and Severino, and you're just like, hey, where was this?
Yeah.
Where was this when I was going to the Coliseum sitting through all that sewage out there?
Right.
By the way, our weekly conversation with Ryan Rowland-Smith is brought to you by Mazda of Everett. But, yeah, so they get to business tonight. They can extend that lead, certainly. Hopefully we're talking about a 9th series win in a row for them.
Yeah.
But the AL West appears to be kind of up for grabs. Nobody's looking awesome yet. The Mariners are red hot as anybody. The Astros were hot for a while, but Buster Olney, who was on with Bump and Stacy, talked about the AL West, feeling like there are no dominant teams in the AL, and feels like the Mariners, he easily could picture them in the World Series.
In the time that I cover baseball, I've never seen one league so much better than the other league. The National League is staggeringly better than the American League. If you are an American League team and you are leading your division as the Seattle Mariners are, you can paint, or even if you're in second place or third place, the league is generally down so much, you can paint a reasonable path to playing the World Series. The National League is like, the Justice League, Superman, Batman teams, the Flash. I mean, they are just stacked with the Dodgers, the Padres, the Mets, the Phillies. The American League team is the American League is the land of opportunity.
See, he started getting all that nerd stuff, and Matt, his ears perked up, and mine went to sleep there.
The only thing of interest he's ever said.
Justice League. Yeah.
But, I mean, he's right. If you're looking at just records, Mariners have the second best record in the American League behind the Tigers, who are 22-13. Mariners are second best at 20-13. Mm-hmm. But then, National League, you got the Mets, who are 22-13. You got the Dodgers, who are 23-11. Padres, 22-11. Giants, 22-13. Man, that whole division's a winning. Every team in that division is a winning team except for the Rockies. The Diamondbacks are in fourth place at 18-16. And then you got the Rockies, 6-28.
Yeah. Everybody's feeding on them, and
they got
league clubs.
They got a minus 89 run differential.
Oh my God!
Goodness,
that is terrible. It's. I was just looking at the A's. They're top 10 in a lot of offensive categories. Kind of sneaky good, but
they've allowed a lot of runs though. If you're just looking at it, I think you can get to their pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mariners have scored the most runs in that division, 168. A's are second at 150, but you look at runs allowed, they've allowed 172, which is more than their second most, 181 allowed by the Angels, 172 allowed by the A's.
Yeah.
So there's opportunity there to get into this pitching. But they do put up runs, second best in that division behind the Mariners.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, they're top 10 in almost everything average. On-base percentage, I think they're not. But are they cranking the ball out of there as far as home runs go? They've got like 45. They're fourth or fifth in the league, but the Mariners are fourth.
Yeah,
49 home runs. But
we'll talk to Martin Gallegos, who's the A's beat writer for MLB.com. Yeah. He's going to join us at 4:30, so we can talk to him about. I actually haven't paid much attention to the numbers coming out of that park. Like, is the ball flying out of there left and right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening as a result of playing in a minor league park and how that's impacted stats in a positive or negative way for him. So it'll be interesting to get a breakdown from Martin and see what, is that helping them? Is that inflating some numbers? Is it hurting them on some level? No idea what that park's like. And that's one of two, because the Rays are playing in a minor league park.
That's right.
As well. So it's just, what a weird season. Two of your major league teams, their seasons, for obvious reasons with the Rays. I mean, natural disaster ripping the roof off their building.
Yeah, natural disaster for Tampa, and then for the A's, it's just negligence.
Just ownership disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible ownership.
I mean, let that entire stadium fall into a state of disrepair. It's just ridiculous.
All right, coming up, Seahawks have made their intentions clear about one throwback element to their offense this season. We're going to talk about that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Jeff Passan of ESPN, who joins us.
Where is Cal in the pantheon of the best catchers in baseball right now?
I think he's at the top of the list, right? I mean, just at this point, I'm not sure who else is there. What we're seeing, though, is the guy who the Mariners gave $100 million guaranteed to.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Details and disclaimer.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speed. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
So, Dave, you were out at rookie minicamp.
Yes, and I was not mistaken for one of the rookies.
You aren't. So that was going to be my first question. Well, now that we got that out of the way. Did you see him working fullbacks much? Was that a part of the proceedings?
Yeah, we did see some fullback formations. So that's what they're going to do. They already turned that's the tight end's name,
Brady Russell
into a fullback,
and then another tight end or a guy listed as a tight end. Oots was listed as a tight end, and he's a fullback now.
Yeah,
right?
He's listed as a fullback now. So yeah, but you didn't play, I don't think, one snap in the backfield at Alabama, but I could be wrong. But yeah, he was just a really good tight end, and really effective. Not like a one of the top tight ends, but he's just very solid. Good hands, can block, big dude, and I think that he might replace Cal Raleigh as far as the big dumper goes, because he's got
a big dumper.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and which you love, obviously, in football. And
power source.
200, exactly right. 275 pounds, and a guy who's 6'4". I mean, he's pretty athletic, too. I mean, that's the good thing. We talked about this before when I was doing the Oots breakdown after the draft, and, I talked about the guy in Baltimore, Patrick Ricard, the fullback that they have. Now, he's a much bigger guy. Well, not much bigger. He's probably 25 pounds heavier. I think he's closer to like 300. But nowhere near as athletic as Oots is. So I think, definitely he's an upgrade from that. And then, I feel like the one thing I think about when I think about fullback, I feel like the first down or third down situations are going to be much better, because that was what I just could not stand that last year.
And it need that sledgehammer.
Yeah, it happened too often, and often it was costly. I mean, the Ram game, and I think it was the Giant game, that they could not pick up short yardage situations running the ball, and they lost those games.
Yeah, they need that sledgehammer.
Yeah,
in one of these guys, and we'll see who really, whether it's Oots or whether it's Brady Russell or how they're going to do it. But Mike McDonald talking about having a fullback and explaining why he likes having a fullback for his offense in particular.
It's a great question. It's a good softball. I just think, we want to be a physical unit, and there's not a lot of true fullbacks in the league right now, and hopefully they're making a comeback. But we got a couple on our roster right now that I'm really excited about. And, it allows you to get into two-back sets. And, you can break the formation. You can try to dictate some terms to the defense and regulate them certain ways. And some of the schemes that you're able to do with, two backs are definitely different than a one-back operation. So I think it diversifies you to a certain extent, and also lets you play like a level of physicality that we're hunting up.
Look at how he starts that out with nice softball. Nice softball question. I don't know. It's a great question. Nice softball.
Uh-huh.
All right, Coach. Well, next time I'll ask you, or I'll throw a fastball by you, and we'll ask you to explain why you like this player and why you hate that one.
I think Mike McDonald is much more old school than people think. That, like, there's times where he gets irritated when it's not physical football, and I think that he thinks that's where the basis of the entire thing comes from, physicality. And so, but the other thing that you think about is, like he said, it's a dying breed. You don't see very many fullbacks, so teams are going to have to prepare extra for them. And that, it used to be just part of it, right? But now it's, I played with one of the more versatile fullbacks of all time, John L. Williams. John L. was an incredible pass catcher. He had the softest hands, but he was a big dude, low to the ground. And
do you have the neck roll? I thought he did.
He might have had a neck roll.
That's old school.
That's
to
what
me.
they should do. They should put a neck roll on Robbie Oots.
Yeah, when you see the neck roll, I'm just like, that's old school. That's when I was a little kid.
Well, yeah, already got the mustache and the flowing mane there. So he'd fit right in with that.
Well, he was, speaking of him, Robbie Oots, he was interviewed and talked about what he's learning about playing fullback.
There's a lot, coming from the tight end position, it's a lot of different leverage. So really changing my footwork up, kind of changing my attack angle on defenders, and learning to make decisions on the go instead of letting the defender come to me. So there's a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to attack the line of scrimmage, and for a tight end, if he's pass blocking, I mean, obviously run blocking, he's right there on the line, but you come from the fullback, and there's a whole nother issue, like you could miss. It's a long ways between you and the block, and so, like he said, his footwork needs to change and things like that, but hopefully he can pick it up, and we'll see. I mean, they may ditch the entire thing, and he really still could, end up being one of their tight ends. If they decide to ditch the whole fullback thing. But
I wonder if they're asking him to put on weight and get bigger. And, obviously as a tight end, he wants to be more lean, I would suppose. You want some level of speed. And now you're kind of a battering ram.
Yeah.
So they probably wonder if they were telling him, hey, bulk up. We're just going to be, you're running head first into this line. You're going to be knocking guys on their backside, creating a hole for the tailback.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I would have thought the other way, that maybe he could lose some weight and maybe be a little bit lighter on his feet. Because, I mean, if he lost 20 pounds,
what's he listed at?
He'd be 250. He's 270.
270. Yeah, I did look up her card. He's listed at 6'3", 300 even.
Yeah.
Is what he's listed at.
Yeah. So, and this guy's 6'4", 275 or 280, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, I think you have to have a little bit better.
Yeah, 6'4", 270 is what, boy, this picture. He looks like your high school math teacher or something from back in the 80s.
Yeah, he actually looks like he's like 40 years old.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. You want to talk about a big dumper, man. Yeah. Holy smokes. That's exactly what you want, though, obviously. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more athletic ability to playing fullback, as far as like the distance between you and who you're going to block, and, setting those things up. So it'll be different for him. And, it's not like anything that he ever played. Remember, I asked him, like, yeah, they announced you as a running back. He goes, I have no idea why they would do that. If he ever saw me play, he's 6'4", 270.
Does the emphasis on this and the fact they drafted another running back, which, who knows what motivation there, but does it make you feel like they're going to really lean on being a running team? And maybe they're not going to put as much on Darnold as maybe we expect or think.
I would think so, Bob. I mean, they could not rely on the run last year. I mean, there were times where they just had to put the ball in Geno's hands and just chuck it. And I know that Mike doesn't want to do that. So, yeah, I think, we talk about Darnold and, Jalen Milroe of like having to fill the quarterback position when you always think about what happened last year. It's not going to be anything like that,
right?
If Mike has his way. So, because, I'm just looking at, like in New Orleans, they had it pretty close to, it's probably like 53-47 as far as run or pass to run. Mm-hmm. It's close to 50-50. So, they had 228 attempts rushing the ball and 280 as far as throwing the ball. So they're gonna run a lot more, and that just wasn't part of the deal. And also, just as it turned out, I think they had to adapt as the season went. I didn't think they really knew until like week 3 or 4 that like we can't run the ball. We just can't.
Except for the one game against Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, which was amazing. And they,
maybe that was more about Arizona. Maybe they're really bad against the run, or just had a bad day.
Well, and there was also something like their style, their scheme, just set up perfectly for that kind of post and pull type of blocking. And yeah, they set themselves up for it. And that was also the Charbonnet game, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So, yeah, that's when he ran for like 165 yards or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a lot more dedicated towards, towards the run. So I would say, if you look at Darnold or you look at whoever is going to play a quarterback, it's not going to be entirely on them, because that's what it was last year. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that they ran the ball well a couple of times, but for the most part, in situations, they just couldn't pick up first downs.
All right, coming up, there's one thing we want to see out of Bryce Miller tonight. We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Straight from Pierre, South Dakota, Brock. Gray, good morning. How are we feeling today?
Super excited to be a part of the Seahawks and the scheme that they do.
Are you still growing? Could we see a bigger Gray Zabel at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, big thing about gaining weight is just steaks and squats. That's all you got to do to put on some pounds.
Steaks and squats. Well, and you could go from Bush Light to Bud Heavy if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. A few extra carbs.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports. The app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk hauling, donations, and recycling. We'll give you an exact price before we start the job and get it done with a smile. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down.
I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy-policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Lafferty's EMS reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Lafferty's Emergency Medical Supply EMS. The ship's medicine chest since 1974. Online at Lafferty'sEMS.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners begin their series with the A's tonight. We'll turn you over to the pregame show at 6 p.m., 7:05 first pitch. Bryce Miller is on the hill, guy who was phenomenal last year. And so far this year, he has not been that guy. He's not been terrible, but he's not been anywhere close to what you expected coming into the season. And I think he had, Tuesday, you got it right here. Career high 5 walks against the Angels on Tuesday. 5 walks.
Well, that's just unheard of here in Seattle, right?
It's just, it's no good. That kind of traffic, that many pitches you're throwing. He has not gone 6 innings in any start this season. He's gone 5 2/3, I think, a couple of times. But pitch count's gotten away from him. He just hasn't been the same guy to this point. And he talked, this is on Tuesday, explains why the start of the year has been so difficult for him.
I'd say pretty frustrating outing. Been a frustrating start to the season for me. Just like I had a majority of my starts where I haven't felt great, and then like today I was feeling good, and then my back kind of locked up on me pregame, and so it's just been one thing after another that hasn't been major, but just been nagging, and I don't know. Once I get to feeling good, I'll be happy, but no, it's just definitely frustrating. I feel like today's one of the days where like I expect myself to at least get through 7 and give the bullpen a chance, and I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, 5 walks, and it sounds like just physically he just hasn't been where he needs to be.
I'm glad to hear that, actually.
Why do you want him hurt? He seems like a nice guy.
I certainly don't want him hurt. I hope it's not anything that's getting in his head. Obviously that's probably worse. I think I would say that as an athlete, something that is holding you back mentally is worse than a lot of injuries. Not all of them, but I'm looking at, he had a 4 2/3 outing. You mentioned the 5 2/3, and then everything else has been at 5. And if you look at, the rest of, I was just looking at Wu, he's had several quality starts, and then
Wu's been the ace.
Yeah, and then Castillo's gone 6 innings, and he's had a couple of rough outings. The one in Cincinnati, but if you look at Miller, he's the one you kind of worry about the most. But like I said, it sounds mean, but I'm like, I'm glad that there's a reason if it's physical, and as long as it's not season ending or anything that's going to keep him out several weeks, that it was just something that was bothering him. But, he just seemed like he was going to be the guy, him or Wu, that was going to really step up this year, and that could still happen. He maybe it just took him a little bit to get going, but he's pitched in 7 games so far, so I'm looking to see him redeem himself and be the pitcher that he thought he would be going in.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he's got 19 walks so far in 6 starts this year. He had 45 all of last season.
Wow.
So in 31 starts. So his walk rate is just way up. I mean, you look at it, the game against Boston on the 22nd of April, he threw 100 pitches. He went 4 2/3. 100 pitches to get through 4 2/3. He had 4 walks in that game. We just talked about his most recent game on the 29th. He had 5. Now, he didn't give up any runs. He only gave up 2 hits. So you're like, well, that part's good, but he walked 5 and struck out 6. So, yeah, you had traffic. Pitch count went up. He didn't allow any damage. He didn't give up any runs, but still, I mean, 5 walks and that one. So he's thrown 100 pitches twice. The other one was against Texas, where he only gave up 2 hits. He hasn't given up many hits. Gave up 1 run in that game, but he threw 100 pitches in 5 innings and walked 3 and struck out 5 in that one. So he's just, you look at his walk totals in the last 5 games, it's 5 walks, 4 walks, 2, 3, and 3, and he hasn't gone further than 5 1/3 in any of those starts.
That's why his back is locking up, I guess.
he's throwing a lot of pitches.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at Wu, and like I said in the beginning, jokingly, but it's like it's unheard of around here. Like especially when Kirby's in the rotation. I mean, remember he had, I think it was that first year he had more walks than outings or something, or
more outings
than walks.
I think that's been true each year of his career.
It's crazy.
Yeah, let's see. His first year he had 25 starts. He had 22 walks.
Yeah.
In 2023, he had 31 starts, 19 walks.
Wow.
And last year, 33 starts, 23 walks. So he's had 89 career starts. He's got 64 total walks in 3 seasons, George Kirby.
Yeah. Well, and it's continuing with Brian Wu. I mean, he's got, 6 outings and 7 walks?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just seems like in this rotation, the walks are unheard of, but I mean, it's not like it's horrible numbers, but like you said, more than anything, it's about driving his pitch count up.
Yeah, I mean, to have 2 starts where you threw 100 pitches and you didn't go beyond 5 in either. One, you went 5. The other one, you went 4 and 2/3. You threw 100 pitches. So, yeah, he's. I'll give him credit for what he's been able to do in terms of limiting the damage with that kind of traffic on the base paths. He hasn't given up a ton of hits. He hasn't allowed a lot of runs to score, but he's just, again, not allowing himself to go deep into games by throwing up so many pitches very early. And some of that, you got to give credit to the opposition, fouling balls off, things like that. But if he's just physically not been where he needs to be, I'll be curious to see. I'm anxious to see tonight's game. First of all, I'm just excited to see him play because I want to talk about 9 winning series. It was winning 9 series in a row. That's what I want to be talking about in a couple of days. But I'm very anxious to see, all right, how does he look? Does he feel good today? Does he physically feel like, you know what, this is the best I've felt, and we're going to see the results of that, more importantly. Like, all right, I went into this game, back felt great. Everything that was bugging me in any other start was gone. I felt ready to go, and maybe this is the game where he goes 7 and gives up a run and maybe walks 1 or 2 and strikes out 6, something like that.
Yeah, I would love to see that that pitch count come down, like you said. But yeah, you look at the other guys, and yeah, that's been the biggest problem for him. So, but I love that you know, and when you played baseball when you were a kid and everything, nobody thought about walks that much, but it's just been like this rotation for the Mariners. It's like they hate walking batters. I mean, it's just such a awesome stat too, because, you know, like you said, it pushes the pitch total up there, and that's why he's getting the sore back.
Yeah, and hopefully, if he goes into this game and they're saying, and he comes out of it saying, yeah, I just didn't physically, I didn't feel right, or whatever's going on, they need to address. Whether that means they sit him, they put him on the 10-day IL, something like that, and he gets a little break, or need to figure out something. If he hasn't felt right physically in any of his starts, which is sort of what he implied, like nothing major, but it just sounds like it's been something that's kind of nagging him, and then he said his back locked up. Whatever's going on, they got to get it figured out.
Yeah.
So if that happens again today, like he's going in there going, my ribs, my back, my arm, whatever's going on. All right, what's happening here?
Do you agree, though, for a pitcher that, like, it's almost like you'd rather have some minor annoyance as far as a tight back than if it's in your head?
Yeah, if you're just I don't know why I'm not able to land this pitch. I can't get the right spin. It's not going where I want it to go. Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard Charlie Furbush say that, But, hey, I know how to locate this pitch. I just can't do it right now.
Yeah. All right, meanwhile, Jalen Milroe will be the Seahawks' most talked about rookie this season. We'll explain why that is. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk. Straight from Pierre, South Dakota, Brock. Gray, good morning. How are we feeling today?
Super excited to be a part of the Seahawks and the scheme that they do.
Are you still growing? Could we see a bigger Gray Zabel at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, big thing about gaining weight is just steaks and squats. That's all you got to do to put on some pounds.
Steaks and squats. Well, and you could go from bush light to butt heavy if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. A few extra carbs.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports. The app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, this is pretty fun for me. Normally, Shannon O'Kelly and I are talking physical therapy, but today we are talking First Mark Insurance. You made the call to First Mark. You took the challenge. Why?
Brock, I was looking for a local agency that I could align with similar values, and they've helped us here at IRG. They shop different plans. They find the best plan for you, the best price, the best coverage, great customer service, and great connectivity.
Did they save you any money along the way?
Absolutely, they saved us money. Obviously, here at IRG, I have several needs in the insurance industry, and they look at those needs A to Z, and they find out what kind of coverage you need, what is the best coverage, at what cost, and they're always looking to save money. And again, it's all about providing my company, IRG, great customer service.
Well, Shannon and IRG, they took the challenge. Molly and I, we took the challenge. Are you confident that your business is getting the very best when it comes to your insurance needs? If not, take the First Mark Challenge today, and it's totally free. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Looking for Mother's Day weekend plans? Well, take Mom out to T-Mobile Park for an unforgettable day of Mariners baseball. The team is squaring off in a 3-game series Friday through Sunday, and as a part of the festivities on Mother's Day, the first 10,000 moms will head home with a brand new clear structured purse, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. A Mariners game is the perfect place to celebrate with Mom and the whole family. Lock in your seats today at mariners.com/tickets.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Rowland-Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners get back to business tonight against the A's in Sacramento. They'll send Bryce Miller to the hill, hoping for his first quality start of the season. You catch all the action starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. 7:05 first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, game's going on right now. Dodgers out to a 1-0 lead over the Marlins in Miami. That game in the top of the second. Got some bad weather on the East Coast. The Nationals and Guardians in the top of the first are in the midst of a weather delay. Same is true for the Yankees and Padres in New York. That one in the top of the first in the midst of a weather delay. Meanwhile, in the NFL, big news for the Baltimore Ravens. Justin Tucker has been officially released. The statement coming from their executive vice president and general manager, Eric DaCosta, said, sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Coming up at 4:30, we're going to talk more about this series with the A's coming up. The Mariners and A's getting together. Game 1 today. We'll speak with Martin Gallegos. He's the A's beat writer for MLB.com. He'll join us at 4:30. Stay tuned for that. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Still weird to see this Justin Tucker story. It's just amazing. He was cut with 3 years left on a 4-year, $22 million extension that made him the league's highest paid kicker at the time. So he still had 3 years left on that deal, and they won't have to pay his $4.2 million salary next year, which is the first year of his deal in which none of his salary was guaranteed. So, yeah, just very unceremonious end to his career for a guy who was at one point the most accurate kicker in NFL history.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it was, the off-the-field stuff.
Yeah, he's been accused of misconduct by 16 massage therapists from 8 high-end spas and wellness centers in the Baltimore area. Man.
Stupidity.
Just really is.
Yeah.
If it were 1 or 2, you might go, well, who knows what's true, what the motivation is. When you've got 16, it's like the Deshaun Watson thing.
Well, hadn't he already read that story? I mean, you would think so, but
or the Robert Kraft story, or everything happens in a massage place. But it's just, when it's that number, that many, you're just kind of going, the benefit of the doubt kind of goes out the window. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing all of these people don't all know each other and in cahoots together, and let's come up with this big conspiracy to drain money from this guy. I don't know. It's the Deshaun thing, same thing. Just the numbers. You're just like, at some point you got to go, look, there's way too much smoke for there not to be fire here.
Right.
I'm all for benefit of the doubt, but there's way too much when you got 16 different accusations going. So we'll see what goes on there. But he is no longer a Baltimore Raven, and I don't know that there's going to be a team that's eager to give him another crack.
No.
So we'll see. Meanwhile, the Seahawks had their rookie minicamp over the weekend. You gave us a review of what you saw out there, and I would say probably the most popular, the guy they're most curious about, fans are most curious about, is Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, it's not a guard.
Yeah, they're not curious about Zay. They just go out there and be good, be big, be good. Him and Worry, I'm excited to see him,
and I think everybody is too because of the Cam Chancellor comparisons.
Yeah, certainly. If he's anything like that, people are going to be in hog heaven. But the one I think most people are talking about, most popular topic of conversation, is Jalen Milroe, whether it's because they think he's going to be great or they think he's going to be a bust or whatever they think, he's created the most conversation.
Well, and I wonder if people just subconsciously are thinking, well, Russell Wilson also drafted in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I don't remember what pick he was, but Jalen was number 92. So, but guy's 6'2", 225, built like a throwback quarterback, almost like 225. He's a pretty solid dude. But anyway, I cut you off there. But
well, do you think? I mean, is there an instance where you could see fans clamoring to see him if Darnold struggles? Like, is he going to be that popular to where? And some of it'll be determined by what we see in preseason. Like, I've assumed that's where he's going to get the most of his opportunity. Darnold will get some, but you'll see Milroe in the preseason games. If he goes out there and shines and looks great, and then maybe Sam gets off to a slow start, I could then see people go, "Oh, get this kid, he looked great." But if he goes out there and looks like he's not very refined, then maybe that'll provide a little bit more slack for Sam should he get off to a slow start.
Yeah. Anybody ever think about Drew Lock anymore?
No.
I mean, I'm going, well, wait a minute. Like, you might have to have on your roster 3 quarterbacks because, if Darnold gets hurt, I mean, I think Drew Lock is your go-to guy there.
Yeah.
He's the 2nd string quarterback. And maybe that won't be the case. Maybe, they'll trade him or something if Milroe's able to,
shine
sort of, pick this thing up. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And I know that we got a clip here from McDonald about, talking about the comparison to Taysom Hill. But, if you look at what he did, I mean, first of all, Taysom Hill is listed as a tight end for whatever reason, but he was the 2nd leading rusher with 39 carries. Now, Alvin Kamara had 228.
Right.
So, but, he ran for 278 yards, and then, Taysom Hill was 2 for 4 last year, so he didn't line up at quarterback a lot. A lot of times he did. It was like a shotgun snap, and then he would wait for, the blocker to go, which I love. Not thrilled with the shotgun, but if you snap it to him and it's a short yardage situation, you're like a tailback basically.
Yeah.
So the timing all works out and everything, and I like that part of it. But yeah, Taysom Hill didn't throw a lot of passes. He was 2 for 4. So I think Jalen. That's where I think a big difference is Jalen Milroe is a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Who can run, but he's a very good quarterback.
Well, you brought up the comments from Mike McDonald, and he clarifies his draft day comments about Milroe being utilized like Taysom Hill.
What I was trying to say at the time was we respect the heck out of Taysom Hill. We've gone against him several times, and he's a gigantic pain in the butt and a great player in his own regard. But I think you have to go into these things. These are independent players with their own skill sets and own abilities, and we drafted Jalen to play exclusively quarterback. I think what makes Taysom such a great weapon is that you have to account for him as a tight end and a fullback body when he's not playing quarterback, where we're not going to be using Jalen in that matter. So when he's in there, he's going to be playing quarterback for us. But I think the way that we want to operate with Jalen is if and when he earns opportunities to be on the field, we'll do the things that he does really well. Same as when Sam's taking snaps for us. We're building it around his skill set and the things that he does. And you're not doing that as an organization and a football team. I think you're doing it the wrong way. So same thing with Drew. But it's going to start with the quarterback, and then kind of everything falls in place from there.
To your point, Bob, I mean, the most interesting player in this draft, probably Jalen Milroe, even though he's the 3rd round pick. And just because I think a lot of people with the Taysom Hill, and we talked about it on game day, like or on draft day, where it was like, okay, we know exactly what that guy does. Lots of times he'll line up in shotgun and run it and everything, but the way that they want to use him is very different. Like they really want to develop him as a quarterback, and they see that in him. So, I think that a lot of people are probably thinking more kind of like I was in the beginning. I thought, hey, let's put him in some packages and use him as a weapon and all that stuff. But they're really dedicated to, it sounds like the more I hear from them, to developing him into a quarterback, which would just be fantastic.
It'd be great if he turned into the next Russell.
Yeah.
This third round gem that you found and developed. And again, you've talked about the comparison, maybe not fair because Russell was a much more developed thrower, passer, quarterback than Milroe is currently. So maybe that development is slower, but if he eventually gets to that point, pretty exciting. I think that's why people are excited about his presence, because it's more unknown. You're like, well, can he become a really good refined passer, or is that just not going to be part of what he does? Mike McDonald talking about what you might learn from watching him in person.
Well, one thing that you don't have a feel for Jalen, watching tape or even watching him in practice, is just like the spirit he has from play to play. He's got great energy, great competitive energy about trying to get it right. Great command of the huddle. Really takes pride in the operation. And then all these fundamental things that we're going to be building on from the ground up. He's just got a great attitude about it. The coaches are doing a great job coaching him every play, and it goes for all our guys, but him especially. So, if you have that attitude, especially at the quarterback position, everybody else tends to fall in line. And in that regard, it was really, really fun to be around.
A good example of what he's describing there, the whole time that he's talking about, watching him as a person and how he interacts with everybody, I think of Steve Atwater. Steve Atwater was a big safety, and remember that highlight where he knocks out Christian Okoye? Comes up, it's like in a Monday night game, and he comes up and
I remember him being a big hitter.
Butt. Oh, man, he was huge. He was a huge safety. But Steve, still to this day, if you text him or whatever, 5 minutes later, you're going to get a text back from him. And he was one of those guys, his personality, he just uplifted you. I remember him coming up to me when I first got to Denver, and he was like, you had a really good practice today, Dave. Keep it up, man. I love this and that. And he just made you feel like $1 million. And everything I hear about Jalen Milroe, and that's perfect for a quarterback situation. That's the personality you want. And but I think when people get to know Jalen Milroe, and I've just seen a couple clips from him, and I haven't met him in person or anything, but I think people are going to be blown away by his leadership and his just his personality.
Well, he had the chance to speak after practice and talked about some of the goals he set for himself this season.
Yeah, my goal, honestly, is to come in and be the best version of myself, be better than I was the day before, and earn the trust and respect of everyone in the organization. Everyone from the top down, earn the trust and respect. With that, it comes other things, but that's number one. Any guy that comes in, no matter where you're selected in the draft, the first pick in the draft to the very end of the draft, you're Mr. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're trying to earn the respect and trust everybody in the locker room and the organization. And so with that, it comes with being a good teammate as well, and being a good teammate to Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, everyone in the room, the coaches, showing that I care, I'm studying. So, other goals come with that, but the niche of everything is that.
Team guy.
Oh, my God. I mean, that doesn't sound like a rookie. That sounds like a guy who is long into his NFL career. So, yeah, I mean, and he kind of sounds like that tempo and the way he talks sounds like Atwater to me for some reason. But, it's pretty amazing what your personality can do for you, especially at that position.
Yeah.
At quarterback. You can't
You're a leader.
Yeah. You can't have somebody that's stoic and won't talk to people and, doesn't have confidence. And
What do you think about a quarterback who really lights up the players around him, like Dan Marino? I was on the sideline, one of the first sideline gigs ever I did, carrying batteries for James Lofton. And I just watched Dan Marino coming off the field, just cursing up a storm, screaming at his receivers, his O-linemen, and faces beat red, just thinking, does that work? Do people respond to that, or are they just like, ugh, shut up, Dan?
No, I think that worked for him. I mean, his personality. I saw it on the field. Well, I've told the story about me intercepting Dan Marino, and when the next series he gets up under center and his face was like beet red, and he looks over at me and he's like, "Nice play." Like he's snarling at me. And he just treated everybody. But yeah, you would hear him, just killing his receivers when they came back. You didn't run the right route.
Oh yeah, I remember being stunned because I was new to the business. I hadn't been that close to players in the thick of the action, and just hearing them lighten them up like, wow, he's a jerk. I wouldn't like him. But
well, I mean,
he's one of the greats.
The thing is, like, everybody accepted his personality, and he used it, and he was genuine with it. He really was pissed off, and it wasn't like I think everybody has their own way, but man, so far, I mean, look, he's a rookie. We don't really know Jalen Milroe, but
was Elway a screamer? Would he yell at?
No, not really.
I just remember the thing you talked about the one time. You said, "Guys, could you just do this for me," or whatever?
Oh, can you just stop him one time?
Just do this one thing for me.
Oh my gosh. Well, the thing about him always was his was toughness. Remember that Kevin Green sack where he hits John like full speed, doesn't even see him. And then at one point, if you freeze it, they're both with Green on top of like a sandwich here. He was on the top, and they were like 4 yards off the ground. And then, okay, not 4 yards, probably 4 feet though.
Yeah.
And then he just slams down on top of him, and Elway just gets up and walks off the field. And and we used to always, him and I used to joke about Shannon Sharp.
Right.
Shannon Sharp would get a hangnail in the middle of the field, and you thought he was dying. And so we were talking about that, and Elway, he said, the reason why I always just run to the sidelines or walk to the sidelines is because I don't ever want them to think they got me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what a tough guy.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own like personality, and I think John was a good leader in some ways, but every once in a while you get this guy like I said, Steve Atwater, where he just is there to encourage you and make you feel better and make you a better player.
Giving you confidence.
Yeah, because he would play behind me. He was a safety, and he's like, man, I love that play. He just would go on, and it was very genuine.
Yeah.
And that's, from what I understand, Milroe is all about. So I think it's kind of interesting, though, with this Drew Lock thing. Like, now we're talking about Jalen Milroe. Now, look, I mean, he's a third-round rookie, so let's not put too many expectations on him. They want to develop him as a quarterback. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And, look, the further down the draft, the probably harder it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing the less mechanically gifted, quarterbacks. But I mean, if he is a fast learner and picks it up and is, positive about it, I mean, it could be a situation where it's like, what are we doing with Drew Lock?
Well, and he represents possibility. He represents an unknown. Like, there's all this unlimited potential attached to him. We'll see if he is able to realize it all. But yeah, Drew Lock is a guy, I think who he is. He's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's looking at him going, well, there's the future. He's the guy in case things go bad. This is the guy who potentially could be the future, thus the excitement about him. But he talked about, the Seahawks and if they're asking him to do things that are similar to what he did at the college level.
Yeah, so I had 3 different coordinators while I was at school at Alabama. With that, we saw football in different lenses with each coordinator. But, of course, you have different terminology, you have different formation adjustments. And so seeing now in the lenses of Coach Kubiak and seeing how he calls plays and how, your footwork and, your timing, all those things are maybe different. But system as a whole, everything, correlates for sure. But, it's the details and understanding that, all of us as a group, as a team, the quarterback room, all should be flowing together.
Yeah, I look, as much as we're talking about developing him as a quarterback and everything, and just, first of all, he sounds great. Just the things and the way he puts things. I think you can tell something from that. But also, I mean, he hasn't played a lick yet, right? But now all of a sudden you're like thinking, okay, well, they have to develop him as a quarterback, and that's pretty hard to do, your first year. So he'd be really special. But, the one thing that I think about always, Bob, and I bet you would probably think the same thing, is when Russell Wilson was on his rookie contract, remember he was making like $600,000?
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to pay your quarterback,
starting quarterback.
Yeah. If you get to the point where maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, he develops into that guy, and maybe it didn't work out for Darnold. I fully expect it to work out for Sam Darnold, by the way. But, it's kind of cool to think of that you have that. And again, like I said on draft day, is that it's the most difficult position to get in the NFL. And you have 3 guys that have, 2 have started in the league, and then you've got a guy who, played at basically a pro football situation down in Alabama with all the opponents that they play. So it's pretty cool. And I thought it was a brilliant move to get him. And, hey, we can still use this guy, and yet we can also, for the long term, develop him into a good quarterback.
We'll see. I'm excited just to see what he looks like out there, running around, throwing the ball, see how his arm looks, his accuracy, all of that. Other things going on around the NFL quickly. We talked about this earlier. Washington, D.C. has been awarded the NFL draft for 2027. It's going to be in Pittsburgh next year. And then in 2027, it'll be in D.C. And at their press conference or the announcement, Roger Goodell and others were talking about they expected D.C. it to exceed $1 million. They expect $1 million plus, whatever that is, 1.1, 1.2, 1.5, who knows. But over 1 million people to attend the draft. I still marvel at this. I don't get it. I get that the NFL's king is more popular than anything, but of all the events that they do, as a football fan, that might be the least exciting thing for me. I'm anxious to hear the name. I'm going to tune in when I'm at home. I'm not getting on a plane and standing in an ocean of people to hear a guy go, with the 18th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select guard Gray Zabel.
I thought you were going to say Joe Schmagagi.
Well, it could be Joe Schmagagi.
I would have put $100 that you were going to say Joe Schmagagi.
It would have the same impact.
What position did he play, by the way?
Schmagagi, he's a utility guy. Yeah, he can play them all. But I marvel at the popularity of this and how it's just bigger and bigger every year. And they expect that, I don't know what they expect for Pittsburgh, but for this, over 1 million people.
Well, we were talking about this in the sports pit before. Like, I don't ever at the, wherever those sites are, I don't see commerce. Like, they don't show, like, is there a bar? Is there there's got to be sandwich shop? And
vendors. There's got to be food and shirts, merchandise. I'm sure they're cleaning up on all that.
And I'm thinking, the NFL, if they have the rights to all of it, they're probably paying a good chunk there. But I mean, I'm sure they're making a ton of money off of that.
It's just, as a football, and you guys can text in on this. I'm curious. As a football fan, let's say you got a free ticket to attend the draft, or you got a free ticket to attend the combine, which I think they should make mobile. They should start putting that in different cities. It's always in Indianapolis. But I, as a fan, would much rather watch players doing something, like watch the 40s, watch the agility drills, watch the long jump. They're doing something. There's some activity going on with potential players that you're going to be watching versus a name being read off of a card. For me, I would rather go to the combine. What would you rather do?
No, I think I'd rather go to the combine.
You win an all-expense paid trip to either of them. Well, now Indianapolis doesn't sound like the best place to go.
Yeah.
If they were moving it around, like this year it's in New York, this year it's in Seattle, blah blah blah, then it would have more appeal to me. The combine would.
Yeah. But I kind of like it in Indy.
Yeah.
I like that it's always there. But I've already been to a combine, Bob, so I would go to the draft.
All right. I've been to 5 or 6 drafts, so I'd definitely. What would you do, Lefko? Combine or the?
I would say draft, depending on the city. Green Bay, nah.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, nah.
I agree.
How long until the combine becomes mobile before they start doing that?
I don't know. Why would they? It's centrally located.
Because they want to generate, just like the draft. The draft was always in New York.
Well, they didn't fill up the dome there in Indy, did they? I mean, I didn't see that many fans. So I wonder, but you're probably right. I mean, if they're able to sell tickets, and again, like you said, I would much rather go to the combine.
Yeah.
If they're filling that up, that would probably be better off, taking that on the road. But
I'm surprised they haven't to this point.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they have. Shoot, I mean, next week, I think we get the schedule release. Like, that's a national holiday, pretty much.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. All right. Coming up, what has the Sacramento experience been like so far for the A's? We're going to get all of the insight on that and a surging A's team from Martin Gallegos of MLB.com. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Nicky Manwari, how do you see them using him?
I think they'd love to put him at that second level. Does it allow them a little freedom, Salk, to put Spoon back outside a corner, right? Where you can have some real strength with Reek and him, and this dude around the line of scrimmage cleaning stuff up on aisle 9. Yeah, man, there's a lot of excitement about just molding that kind of talent.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45. Answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Pacific Power Batteries understands batteries for golfers, batteries for your car, your golf cart, and your bag's electric cart. We also sell good, used, 5-year-old E-Z-Go and Yamaha golf carts with a written satisfaction guarantee starting as low as $17.99. Located in Everett, Marysville, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, Monroe, and Wenatchee, you'll find our staff is well-trained in batteries and the latest charging technology. Pacific Power Batteries, with batteries for golfers.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
Details and disclaimer.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners in Sacramento getting set to take on the A's. Game 1 of that series coming up tonight. We'll turn you over to the pregame show at 6 p.m. But right now we'll get a closer look at this A's team with a man who covers them. He's the beat writer for MLB.com. His name is Martin Gallegos. He's back with us once again. Martin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. And before we get into the A's and you know what's good and bad, what they've been doing this season, what is that park like? What is it? I was sort of kidding earlier, saying maybe the players are in that clubhouse going, well, this is nicer than the Coliseum. I mean, is it? You've been in both, obviously. What's your takeaway from their facilities this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a big change. I think as far as the facilities go, they did a really good job of just kind of investing in upgrades. Obviously, it being a minor league park, there was a lot of work that needs to be done. They built a brand new clubhouse, 2-story clubhouse out beyond left field that the players really like. It's got a lot of, high-tech, state-of-the-art type of stuff as far as training facilities and batting cages and all that. It's got everything that they need. So as far as the facilities, it's actually, like you said, it might even be considered a little bit of an upgrade. The clubhouse is smaller than it was at the Coliseum, just because at the Coliseum they had taken over the Raiders clubhouse, which was huge, but it's still major league size clubhouse. I think everything where it comes down to is obviously when they step onto the field and you see only one deck of seats, and it's a lot different than the way you're used to when you go on the road. You see these big stadiums, and you come here. It's obviously a smaller capacity, but I think slowly each series that goes by, they start to kind of settle in here and starting to feel a little bit more like home. And I think you've seen it on the field where they've had a little bit better success here at home as of late than they did early on in the season.
Martin, do you think it may be some of the stories that come out of the Coliseum were a little bit overdone or overblown? Or, well, I was in that locker room during football season, and I remember it was one way in 1995, and then 25 years later, it was exactly the same. So does that get kind of blown up a little bit, or was it that bad?
I think for the players, I mean, it was fine. I mean, the team did a good job at the Coliseum of maintaining the stuff for the players. So the clubhouse was good. The kitchen was good. There was only one batting cage, but they actually added a second one later on. When I first started covering them about 8 years ago, it was only one batting cage, but they did a good job to make the players feel comfortable. I don't think the players hated it. I think more of the stuff that was talked about was the stuff as far as from a fan atmosphere. They didn't really have a lot of upgrades in terms of the stadium itself to maybe make it a little nicer. It was a little old and creaky, but I don't think it was to the point where it was. I don't think it was a dump. I just think, it was obviously one of the older ballparks in the league. And, it's kind of just had the wear and tear that you would expect when you're in one stadium for 60-something years.
Well, so how does this one play? Is it a benefit? Is it a hindrance? Does the ball carry better here? We certainly always hear about that in spring training, depending on the site. Yeah. And this is a minor league stadium. So what's the What's your I know it's only been, 15 home games they've played there, but what's your feeling about it so far? Is it a place that's helpful or hurtful to an offense?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think as each series has gone by, we've kind of started to figure that out a little bit more. And Mark Cotte was talking about this the other day, that the only place that he could really compare this to in terms of how it plays is Wrigley Field, because it gets windy here. I know a lot of people think about Sacramento as it gets really hot, and it is starting to warm up this week, but there's some winds at night that I don't think we all really expected. And based on the direction of the wind, because there's only one deck of seats, there's a lot of open air. So if the wind's blowing out to center field, it plays more like a hitter's park, obviously. But when the wind is blowing in, it's more of a pitcher's park. And we've kind of noticed that a little more. So even in day games, you would think, the ball's going to carry a lot more because it's a little warmer. But if the wind isn't blowing in, which has been the case a couple of times, we've seen some low-scoring games. And then on the other side of it, when the wind's been blown out to center field, we've seen some high-scoring games. So really, the direction of the wind is kind of going to dictate how the stadium's going to play. In the summertime, it's going to get a little warmer. It could reach triple digits at times. So if it's a day game, maybe you can see the ball carry a lot more. But right now, it seems like the wind kind of determines what kind of night it's going to be.
Hey, I see Brent Rooker and Tyler Soderstrom. He got us for a couple, I think, home runs during that series here. But got those two guys are both in the top 10 as far as home runs go. Who's got the hot hand though right now?
I mean, they've got a good offense going right now. Jacob Wilson, a rookie, he's hitting 330. He's kind of been a table setter for them, and he's kind of moved his way up to the top of the order at times, depending on the matchups. But he's been hitting that 2-hole a lot. Lawrence Butler kind of sets the table at the top. He's maybe not having as much power as he showed last year, but I think the A's expect him to be a guy who produces a lot of power, a lot of home runs as well. But Rooker, I think, he's kind of the guy that makes their engine go. He's a top hitter, but Soderstrom obviously has been a big surprise, a pleasant surprise, because going into the season, you kind of weren't sure what his future was with their top prospect, Nick Kurtz, who's now up here, also a first baseman. You were kind of wondering, well, is Soderstrom going to still have a spot on this team, beyond this season? And I mean, based on how he's played here in the first month or so, he's established himself as one of the better hitters in that lineup, and he's moved to left field now to accommodate for Nick Kurtz coming up. But those four guys that I just mentioned, they're kind of the keys to this lineup. But you've got other guys like J.J. Bleday, Shea Langoliers, those guys can hit for power. Nick Kurtz is up, like I mentioned, the top prospect, and he's a guy, he hasn't homered yet, but he's a guy who they expect to be a really good hitter at this level for a long time. So they've got the makings of a really good lineup right now, and they feel really good every night that they're going to be able to score with the best of them.
What's the feeling about the pitching? I'm just looking at, having not watched every A's game, obviously, I'm just looking at runs allowed, and the only team that's allowed more runs than the A's in the division is the Angels. So has their pitching been problematic, or is that just a couple of games that got out of hand and that inflates that number? What do you see? What do you know about the pitching?
Yeah, they definitely had early on in the season, especially their first homestand here against the Cubs. I mean, they got rocked all three games, and a few blowouts in there. I think that kind of inflated things a little bit. I think their starting rotation, they've kind of found a good footing here with their starting five. Severino's been pretty solid. J.P. Sears has been really consistent. Jeffrey Springs has had some ups and downs. Osvaldo Bido has had some ups and downs, and they just called up one of their top prospects in Gunnar Hoagland to see if he could lock down that number 5 spot. But really, their bullpen has been really surprisingly good. I mean, early on, there was a little bit of some struggles. I know they blew a game in Seattle. It might have been opening night when Jose Leclerc blew it. But they found some good pieces in that bullpen in addition to Mason Miller, their all-star closer. Tyler Ferguson's their setup man. They've got some other guys who have kind of stepped up here recently. And as of this stretch, I believe since April 15th, the A's might have the most wins in baseball or tied with another team. And it's been a large part due to their bullpen. So I think early on they were getting rocked a little bit, but they've kind of found their footing. They've got a lot of young guys in that bullpen and in the rotation. So I would say the pitching is behind the offense. The offense is definitely a strength, but the bullpen has been a strength for them as well as of late over the past few weeks.
Hey, Martin, as far as some of the staff with the A's and then certainly the fans, are they driving up? Are they making the commute? How far is it? Oakland to Sacramento is like around 2 hours, maybe?
Yeah, it's probably about 90 miles. Then you factor in traffic. Yeah, you're probably looking at 2 hours. It's been kind of tough to gauge. I know there are some fans that are making the drive. There's also a lot of fans out here who just have embraced Major League Baseball being in town. And, every night you get, I think the stadium capacity at full, if you include the grass seating, I think you could fit about 14,000. And they had that, pretty consistently the first series. And after that, they've had a steady 9,000, 10,000 every night. So not a huge crowd, but they've been into it. They've had a lot of energy. And I think, they really appreciate having baseball around here, Major League Baseball, in addition to the AAA team that historically sold pretty well here. And it's a interesting time right now. For fans, obviously a lot of fans chose not to come out here, which is understandable. After, being in Oakland for so long, it's difficult to, kind of come to grips with, the team not being there anymore. But I think the fact that there's a good team that's playing well right now, I think is attracting some more fans to come out and kind of see what this young A's team is all about.
Hey, quickly before we let you go, Martin, this team's sitting in second place right now, 2 games back of the Mariners. Was that your expectation looking at this team through spring training? Is it, we'll see how it ends up, but currently, playing very well, won 7 of their last 10. Is this kind of what you expected, or are they exceeding what you thought they would be at this point?
All along from the offseason, it felt like, they felt like this was a year that we're going to take a step forward. So I wouldn't say I'm too surprised. I feel like they feel like they should at least be playing 500 baseball, which right now I think, they're three games above 500. So they're kind of, steady around where they think they should be. So I don't think it's too much of a surprise for me. The big thing will be obviously if they can keep this up. Obviously they've got a tough stretch here, just alone over the next couple of weeks. They play the Mariners and the Yankees come into town, then they got to go to the Dodgers, and then they got to go to the Giants. So this is a tough stretch that they've got. It's really going to kind of tell them a lot about who they are as a team. They've got a lot of young guys, so I think they're still going to go through their ups and downs. A lot of these guys are really inexperienced, but so far through this first month or so, I think they're right about where they felt they could be at. They feel like they should be competing this year all year long, and if they make the playoffs, or if they could sneak in as a wild card, that might be surpass a little bit of their expectations. But I think they felt like they should be at the minimum at least a team that's around 500, which would be a huge improvement from obviously the last 3 years when they lost 100 games a couple of years, and obviously last year they got a little better, but still it was a tough year for them.
Martin Gallegos, A's beat writer for MLB.com, has been our guest here. Martin, thanks so much for the time. As always, we appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
There you go. A little preview of that A's team and the building they're going to be playing in, and I guess full capacity, 14,000.
Yeah, he said they get, 10 to 12, and looks pretty full.
Yeah, it's
looks
probably
like a big crowd.
Probably better than the Coliseum, where it looked like there were 400 people there, but they were always loud. I always remember that. As sparse as it would be, they made a lot of noise.
That stupid horn going all the time.
Horn and the drum, and so we'll see. We'll see what this is like. And he talked about the wind being out there, and there are no stands. There was only one level, so it's not like it's anything to block the ball. So could be interesting at night. Ball flying around out there. We'll see what it looks like coming up tonight. Game 1, you can catch it all right here starting at 6 p.m. with the pregame show. Meanwhile, one Seahawks rookie stirred up controversy with the selection of his jersey number. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach. Head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here from my friends at Harley Exteriors. It's a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. And I'm really excited to work with Harley Exteriors because they're my kind of people. I had Ray, Chris, and Nick out to my house just to see what they could do for us. You see, we've been in the same house for 24 years, and virtually every window in our home has a broken seal. So Harley Exteriors, they have an exclusive high-quality Euro-vinyl Olympic Series window manufactured right here in Washington. And these windows are designed specifically for homes in the Pacific Northwest, helping to maximize energy, efficiency, and beauty. And it's a window you can trust to last the life of your home. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest, up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And Harley Exteriors, they're big fans of the station, and they're excited to work with our listeners, and I'm really proud to be working with Ray and Chris and Nick at Harley Exteriors. It's a team you can get behind. So get in touch with Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more. They're right here in the Puget Sound. Give them a call at 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY. Harley, or you can go to harleyexteriors.com.
All month long at a casino not far away, a share of over $98,000 in cash and prizes is rocketing your way. Embark on an epic quest for cash every Saturday in May at Silver Reef, with 2 winners destined to be drawn every hour from 7 p.m. till midnight. It's the return of the envelope, and that means galaxy-sized fun. Claim 1 free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day, I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it, too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
When an 18-wheeler ran a red light and took the life of a Tacoma man in 2021, his family trusted Davis Law Group to fight for them. And we recovered a $3.5 million settlement and held the trucking company accountable for his death. Accident victims have trusted Davis Law Group to win their case for the past 30 years. And hundreds of 5-star reviews from real clients are proof that we've earned that trust. Call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 11th. Still need a gift for Mom? Puyallup Chocolates will make you look thoughtful. Send Mom a stunning gift box filled with premium chocolate treats. It's so beautiful, no wrapping is needed. Every box includes a handwritten card with your message. Order by May 7th to guarantee delivery in time for Mom. Go to PuyallupChocolates.com and use code ESPN to get 20% off. A beautiful box, a sweet surprise, and a very happy mom. PuyallupChocolates.com. Order now.
Hope springs eternal during the start of the season, but unfortunately, so do spring allergies. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. We're also excited to welcome another allergy surgeon and ear surgeon to our practice. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
I didn't realize this would be a bit of a controversy, but I guess among the Russites, it kind of was. So
among the what?
The Russites. The Russell
Russites?
Yeah.
The Russellites?
The Russellites.
Did you just make that up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what to call the people that still online cling to the fact that number 3 should be like a sacred and holy number. But apparently that was the case because after Nick Eamon-Worry claimed that, after it was announced, there were some people who weren't happy that he put it back in the rotation. He's the first one to wear it since Russell Wilson. He's also the first defensive player in Seahawks history to wear it, but he explained how he settled on the number.
Yeah, man, it was Russell Wilson wore it last, so I kind of was looking for single digits. 7 wasn't available, so I was looking at the next, number that, could mean something to me. But Russell Wilson's one of my favorite quarterbacks, growing up with that Legion of Boom defense. You got an offense too, so respect to Russell. He did a lot for this organization, did everything he could, so I'm doing what I can in this number. I'm making it special on defense in my own way. So
I like that. I like that he said, Legion of Boom, they had an offense too.
No, the only reason he mentioned Russ is because the Legion of Boom. Right?
Yeah. But he's very deferential to Russ there, which is good. I think he handled it well. And, the Seahawks, I don't know if they're going to retire the number one day or not, or if he'll be in the Ring of Honor. He should be to this point. Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback in the history of this organization. Whether you love him or hate him, that's just a statement.
The only one to get you a championship.
Yeah, and get you back to another one.
Yeah. But
I
mean, the way that he left makes it kind of interesting, but there'll be different administrations, as the years go on. And so, but I think it's kind of interesting. I get the sense that Russ doesn't like it, but I think at some point,
has he commented on it?
Not publicly. Yeah, but I've heard a few things that he's not fond of that. But look, I mean, it's going to be retired at some point, right?
You'd think. I don't know. Maybe it'll be retired as Nick Eamon-Worry's number.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Sweeping the dial.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't go over well with the people who still want it to be attached to Wilson.
The Russites, as you call them?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Russites or Russellites?
I like Russites better.
Yeah, I like Russites.
Yeah. I think you put a lot of thought into this, Mike.
In the 30 seconds before the segment started, I did. So thank you for that, though. Matt Brash, we know he made his long-awaited return on Saturday. Actually, some programming news. Sounds like we're going to talk to him tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So we locked down a time. So
nice.
Matt Brash will join us here, Wyman and Bob, 3 o'clock tomorrow. He made his long-awaited return on Saturday, and afterwards, Dan Wilson kind of broke down what he thought of the outing.
I thought he looked really good. He came out. I think sometimes you don't know how they're going to come back from being out so long. You don't know how they're going to come back from, a rehab assignment. But I think I saw him take the mound there to start his warm-up tosses, and I didn't see it speeding up on him. I really saw someone that was wanting to be there, had thought about being there ahead of time. And was comfortable being there, and that's really, I think, how his outing went. Gave up a base runner, but able to get the double play. I thought he was in control. The whole outing for him.
That's a big moment for him because he hadn't pitched since 2023. He didn't pitch last year.
That's right.
So this is his first. I'm sure there were some butterflies, some nerves. As much as it's amazing. We were at spring training. What was it? The first week of March we were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we were watching him pitch then, remember? I was standing right behind him, and, man, he had velocity. It looked like he was ready to go then. Now we're in May, and he's making his debut. So it shows how much work he's putting in and,
And how careful they are.
Yeah,
with him.
100%. So I thought he looked great, but just the idea you forget how long it's been since he pitched.
It's pretty weird that somebody can throw a baseball that distance 75% of the way there, 80%, and all of a sudden it just takes this ridiculous turn.
Yeah.
That slider, I always think about that whenever I think of Brash. I'm just like, that is an unbelievable pitch. And to have him in there with Andres Munoz, who's just going at a historic clip right now, man, that very exciting. With all these injuries, this is kind of a reprieve from that, and it's going to be nice to get him back.
By the way, September 30th of 2023 was his last outing prior to this weekend.
Sweeping the dial.
I thought Dave would appreciate this one. So Giants receiver Malik Neighbors was on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, because everyone has a podcast.
He's got a podcast?
Everyone's got one, Bob.
What's this one called? Do we know?
It's called like the Brooklyn 7 line or something. I probably screwed the name, but no, it's definitely got a Brooklyn and a 7 in there. But yeah, on his podcast, he was explaining why all wide receivers are divas.
We don't like not getting the ball, especially like, okay, cool. We done ran about 100 routes in a week. We done watched the film on the DB. We done learned the plays that we want to call. These coaches is telling us, we're going to call this on this down. We're going to call this when we get to this formation. You're going to score off this play. Not only are we watching film, they watching film also. So we got a high qualities when we go into the game. Oh, I'm about to score. You know, it's not often for a receiver to score that much. A running back might score 20 times a game. He can go on the 1 yard line and rush it in from that. We can't. We got to put that ball in the air, do something. And you told me I was going to get the ball. I'm getting open, and I'm not getting that pill. We got a problem.
I can't wait to see a running back score 20 times in a game. That'd be cool.
I hope it's one of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
He basically, the whole thing could have been just that last sentence. You know, we want the ball. Yeah,
he's talking about all the film work they do, and that's every position. The running backs are doing film work. The quarterbacks are doing film. The linebackers. Everybody's putting in the same effort here, man. It's not like the wide receivers are going above and beyond all other position groups. Thus, they should be rewarded.
But I mean, look, they're the most reliant on other players.
Yeah.
To make plays. Not only you have to beat the defense, but you know, everybody has to run the right route. You have to have the blocking. You have to have the fake. You know, whatever.
The quarterback's got to make the throw on target.
Yeah.
On
whatever
time.
is carried through. I mean, yeah, it all needs to be done, and then they can catch the ball. But yeah, you could have just said that at the very end. Yeah. But basically.
Well, and I don't buy that all receivers are divas. I will not have that attached to Tyler Lockett. No. There's nothing about him ever that was even remotely close to being a diva.
People are going to argue this one. DK was not a diva.
No.
He never complained. Never complained about lack of targets. The only thing we ever saw was him go to the sidelines and yell at
Grubb,
which
maybe it was warranted because he got fired.
Yeah. He was on the right track.
Yeah.
But yeah, he never was complaining about not getting the ball.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, what do the Mariners have to do in order to keep their series win streak going? We're going to talk about that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
Nicky Manwari, how do you see them using him?
I think they'd love to put him at that second level. Does it allow them a little freedom, Salk, to put Spoon back outside a corner, right? Where you can have some real strength with Reek and him and this dude around the line of scrimmage, cleaning stuff up on aisle 9. Yeah, man, there's a lot of excitement about just molding that kind of talent.
Blue 88, every day at 7:45. Answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll meet with Brandon. That's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business tonight in Sacramento. They take on the A's, game one of that series. A's just 2 games back in the AL West of the first-place Mariners. Mariners send Bryce Miller to the hill looking for his first quality start of the season. You can catch all of the action beginning at 6 p.m. with the pregame show right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, other games going on right now. It's the Dodgers out to a 5-0 lead over the Marlins. Shohei Ohtani with a home run. Freddie Freeman with a home run in that one. Bottom of the second, no score between the Yankees and Padres, who were dealing with weather delays. Braves jump on the Reds early. It's the bottom of the third. They're up 4-0 on the Reds, who have yet to produce a hit in that one. Meanwhile, the White Sox, who come in with a 10-24 record, taking on the Orioles in Kansas City. Top of the second, no score there. They're headed to the bottom of the second in Milwaukee. No score between the Brewers and the Astros. Giants and Cubs are scoreless. Top of the second in Chicago. Headed to the top of the second in St. Louis. It's the Pirates with a 2-0 lead over the Cardinals.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. You guys can weigh in on whatever's going on out there. Mariners back in action against the A's tonight. Seahawks just wrapped up their rookie minicamp over the weekend. Whatever's on your mind, you guys can text in on it. 206 says, I told you the A's are creeping. You told me. Told us. When?
Did you go back and check his history?
I don't care enough.
Go back. You don't care enough.
I told you. What are we? 33 games into the season. Let's let it play out here and see what happens. Yeah. I don't recall a discussion about the A's, but they always seem to be kind of a pain, even when you expect them to stink.
Yeah.
And not that they're challenging for a world. They've had some bad seasons, obviously, but they always seem to have some nice young talent on their roster. And then they'll invariably let them go elsewhere because they don't want to pay them.
Yeah.
Except for this offseason where they re-signed Lawrence Butler. They re-signed Brent Rooker. They went out and got Severino. All of a sudden, they're spending money. Spending money like it's going out of style, Dave.
Yeah, I know. And then they got Soderstrom, who I think he got, we talked about earlier, a couple home runs in that series against us in the beginning. That Jacob Williams kid, their shortstop. He's got 43 hits, and his average is 333. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, they're looking like a team that could compete for the AL West. So this used to be kind of a walk in the park, it seemed like, anyway. And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, this team, you look at their top 10 in a lot of offensive categories.
Yeah, it's just weird. You look at them, they got a minus 22 run differential, but they're in second place. So we'll see if they sustain that, or if that was, we talked to Martin Gallegos, who covers them for MLB.com, talked about a couple of early blowouts that'll really shape those numbers. I mean, obviously the Mariners numbers, they're plus 29, but when you have games where you're putting up double-digit runs back-to-back, that's gonna go a long way into inflating that number. So certainly it can get skewed early one way or the other. We'll see how it goes, though. I think the A's got a lot of talent on that team. I don't know that they're going to be there in the end. We'll see, but wouldn't that figure? All of a sudden they win the division their first year, and they're playing in a minor league park that holds 14,000 at capacity, and they're in the playoffs. What if you have a playoff game in a minor league stadium?
That will be crazy. Yeah, and, they're, again, like you said, second in the division right now, just a couple games back. And, yeah, they're a hot team right now, 7-3 in the last 10. So, yeah, that'd be bizarre. And also, if you're an Oakland A's longtime, Coliseum person, that would suck.
Yeah, I would have been annoyed by the offseason if I were a long-suffering A's fan, and all of a sudden they're spending money. They're re-signing these guys. They went out and they pay Severino. I'm like, what? Where was all this when we were, driving to the sewer that is the Oakland Coliseum? I mean, come on, man. But we'll see. The thing that Martin said that I'm most curious about is just talking about the wind, because that can be a nightmare out there. They start lifting balls into the air, and he's talking about it's one level. They don't have multi-decks of a regular stadium, so that the wind is just coming in and blowing the ball this way or that way. We'll see if there's some adventures in the outfield, or balls that look like the guy popped it up, all of a sudden it leaves the stadium, or what it's going to look like out there.
That'd be a nightmare if you're an outfielder. Just trying to gauge, what's going on. But I'm sure they're working on that. They'll be ready for it.
Meanwhile, the Mariners, hopefully we're going to see their full complement of pitchers here before the end of the month with Kirby and Logan. Kirby's ready to go out on a rehab assignment. I saw some video of Logan Gilbert playing catch that Shannon posted a couple days ago. So nice. All good news. Hopefully they're going to be back and fully functional before we know it. And you need the offense to keep going. You need to support, whether it's Emerson Hancock or Logan Evans or what whoever they're going to have in there. Got to get as much run support as possible. But this division feels like it's there to be had. There doesn't seem to be anybody that's really, at least at this point, again, very early, separating themselves. And Buster Olney was talking about this, and in his opinion, he feels like the Rangers and Astros are in much worse shape than the Mariners are.
The Rangers thought coming into this year that they were really going to hit. Jack Peterson went 21 days without a hit. Marcus Semion's been dropped into the middle of the lineup. We saw the Houston Astros in Sunday Night Baseball 2 weeks ago Guys, it's not the same team because there's no Correa, no Springer. Yordan Alvarez doesn't have nearly the sort of support around him. So absolutely, if you're the Mariners, when healthy, they probably have the best starting pitching in the league. Their offense is, at the very least, comparable to some of the teams that they're going up against. And if they continue this production, if this is a sign of what's to come, Julio gets hot, yeah, you can paint a reasonable path into October and through October.
I hope he's right. I really hope he's right about the Astros. That'd be just delightful. Who, by the way, Yordan Alvarez was placed on the IL today. He's got like inflammation in his hand or something, but he's not been having a good year. I was just looking at his numbers. He's hitting on the season 210 with a 306 on base. He's got 3 home runs.
That's
very un-Yordan-like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the injury thing, I mean, you look around the league and like that, the Mariners, one of the worst, really. I mean, it just seems like as far as, you know, and then who they're having to replace. I mean, Donnie Barrels. Let me ask you this. What is more sustainable? Donovan Solano's byline,
140 or whatever he's hitting?
Yeah, or Jorge Polanco's 380.
Which is more sustainable?
Yeah.
Donovan Solano.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I don't think it's fair to expect Polanco to be that through the entire season. I'd love it. I mean, come on. It's amazing.
380, okay, but let's say he's around 300. I mean, that would be remarkable for sure. But no, when you and I looked at Donnie Barrels, you know, his numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, he's a 12-year veteran. This is his 12th year. And then also he's had much better years. So there's got to be like a huge repair coming.
Yeah, it's hard to say if he's a guy, you know, not having paid a ton of attention to his career before this. Is he a guy that needs some regular turns up at the plate to really find his rhythm? Because he's not finding it here. He's had 50 at-bats.
Yeah, 50 ABs, yeah. That's not really enough.
Yeah, he's played in 20 of their 33 games. So he's not getting a lot of run. So I'm, you know, to give him a little soft cushion there while ripping him. He's hitting $140 with the 154 on base, a 160 slug. I mean, it's horrific. He's got 1 walk and 14 strikeouts.
But it has to repair, unless, you know, what is he, 37? Yeah. So, oh my gosh, he made his debut when he was 25 or so. All right, that's not. Anyway, I was like, wow, I didn't know he was that old. But maybe this is it for him. You know, at some point you see with older players, it just goes away. And I don't know, maybe he's at that point, but just haven't really seen anything from him. I actually was watching when he got his RBI.
The one?
I was watching that game.
That game, he's got 1 RBI.
I remember writing it down. But
yeah, he's I mean, you look at last year, he played in 96 games for the Padres. He hit 286 with a 343 on base. He's, again, not a guy that's got a bunch of – he had 8 home runs last year, which I believe was a career high. Yeah, that was a career high in home runs last season.
But we knew about that. We knew he wasn't going to come in and hit for power.
Yeah, I mean, he's never had more than 38 runs driven in, 38 RBI in 2023. That's his career high. So he's not a producer. He's just a guy who would get on base. He was a you know, bat to ball guy. He's going to put the ball in play, and that is just not. I mean, it's hard to believe he'd fall off this much. I've got to believe it's more about just his turns are so infrequent. But I get not putting him out there. If I'm Dan Wilson, I'm looking at it going, look, I can't put the guy out there. We got to support our pitching staff that's in tatters right now. We got to put up as much offense as we can. Unfortunately, he has not been a part of it. And when we've thrown him in there, he has not contributed. So I can't, unless there's an injury, guy needs a day off, I can't find the reason to run him out there.
Yeah. Well, and then Lefko asked the question, though, just in general. I mean, it's proven out. I mean, you look back to when they were swept by the Giants. We talked about this earlier, and then Robles runs into the wall, and that was like a low point. We got swept, and then now all of a sudden you're like, okay, we're going to be without Robles for a while. And somebody else was hurt at that point. Well, we knew Kirby, obviously, but man, it's been amazing the sort of MASH unit that is going on out there, and they're able to continue winning games, man. I mean, you got Bliss and Dylan Moore and Luke Raley. Now, Demo should be back soon, right?
I think so. Yeah,
that was
he
a
had that
10-day
hip issue, and looking at today's lineup, and I do not see a Rosarena in there.
Yeah.
And he was grabbing that hamstring last night. Have we heard anything more about that? Lefko, have you seen anything on the Rosarena?
Rosarena told Daniel Kramer he expects to be in the lineup tomorrow. But
Okay.
yeah, not in there tonight.
All right, so just out of precaution.
So 1-day hamstring pull.
Yeah, maybe they're just like, hey, I know you feel fine. We're going to give you a day off and treat this, stretch you out, whatever it is they do. But your lineup tonight looks like Crawford leading off, Polanco hitting second, followed by Julio, Cal Raleigh, Rowdy Tellez, Mastroboni playing left field, Williamson playing third, Rivas at second, and Ryland Thomas in right field.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Ryland Thomas made his debut the other day. So that was kind of cool to see. But, I mean, you look at what they're doing. They've won 8 in a row, 8 series in a row. And then you start going down the lineup there, and you see like Tellez and Mastroboni, and no offense to those guys, but Leo Rivas, Ryland Thomas. I mean, it doesn't look like a lineup that has an 8 series.
It's going to go out there and mash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this typically, obviously, a Rosarena is usually part of this lineup, and you know, we'll see. Hopefully, again, just one day off. That's fine. I can live with that. But you know, to me, tonight is more about Bryce Miller and what he does. Now, you want the offense to support him. You give this guy some cushion and feel like he doesn't have to be just, you know, pinpoint precision on every pitch. He can get aggressive up there, but. I want to see that I want to hear afterwards that physically this is as good as I felt. I felt great. Didn't have anything nagging me, and hopefully we'll see the result of that, because that cut we played earlier about him, you know, saying I just haven't felt right, and you know, his back locking up on him in the previous start, and just it sounds like it's not been a mental thing, as you point out. Maybe that's a better thing, that's been more physical. But we played this earlier for those that missed it. Here's Bryce Miller just explaining why it's been frustrating for him.
I'd say pretty frustrating outing. Been a frustrating start to the season for me. Just like I had a majority of my starts where I haven't felt great, and then like today I was feeling good, and then my back kind of locked up on me pregame, and so it's just been, you know, one thing after another that hasn't been major, but just been nagging. And I don't know. Once I get to feeling good, I'll be happy. But no, it's just definitely frustrating. I feel like today's one of the days where like I expect myself to at least get through 7 and you know, give the bullpen a chance, and I wasn't able to do that.
As you said, hasn't felt right in the majority of his starts.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I'm glad to hear that, just because there's a reason, at least. I mean, and we've gotten this from Charlie, having Charlie Furbush in here, just that, you know, and he said a number of times, it's like you're up there and you just, like, you know how to locate a pitch, and you're just not doing it for whatever reason. And a lot of times that's just mental. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a sport more about like just where your mind can get in your way much more than any other sport. And so to hear that it's like, oh, I got a, you know, achy back or this or that, I mean, that's kind of a relief to me. I'm sure it sucks for him, but at least you know you can fix it. You know, you can go and get therapy and stretch and all that stuff, and hopefully he feels good tonight, because yeah, he hasn't had. And as you mentioned, lots of pitches, but not a lot of innings.
Yeah, and if you're into the power rankings and all of that we like to refer to every now and then, the latest ones, the Mariners are, as far as MLB.com, number 7, and only 2 American League teams ahead of them, the Yankees and the Tigers. So
about that,
the recognition is there. And they're playing that way, and they've got the second best record, I think, in the American League. We were looking at that earlier. So yeah, we'll see if they can keep this. I mean, they're kind of doing this in spite of everything that's going against them. You know, last year they were healthy for the most part, but the offense was just dreadful. And this year you're looking at key guys being out and hurt, and yet they're just finding ways to pile up runs and drive up the pitch count on the opposition and get away with less than stellar pitching that they've had. I mean, really the mainstay has been Brian Wu, and you know, again, we're just talking about Bryce Miller, waiting for him to look like the guy from last year, and you're missing 2 of your 5 guys, and Logan Gilbert and Jordan. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot to contend with, and seeing the bottom of the lineup do what they've been able to do. And part of that was with JP hitting down in the lineup before they moved him back in the leadoff spot. Seeing what these guys have done down there has been amazing because Cal can't do it by himself. Julio hasn't gotten hot yet. You're still waiting on that. Luke Raley, before he got hurt, he was not hot. He was, things weren't happening for him either. So you had guys that contributed last year you're waiting on, and they're still putting up double-digit runs. It's just been amazing to watch what they've been able to do.
Yeah, what do you think about Julio as far as, you look at over the series, he was 3 for 11. Mm-hmm. And what, 2 RBIs, 1 home run. I mean, I feel like he's going to repair, but it's going to be like this long, slow march towards, mid-season, end of the year. I don't think it's going to be some explosion because that's what we've seen in the past. For whatever reason, you see like a huge slump, and then you see all of a sudden he has like a month and a half that's just like Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, he's kind of slowly been working himself back in there. If you look at his game log, like even in this series, he had hits in 2 of the 3 games.
Right.
Leading into this series, he had a 5-game hitting streak, 4-game hit. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-game hitting streak. And then,
but before that, there was 5.
Yeah, so he had. He had 9 out of 10 games. He had at least 1 hit. Same with this series. He had 1 game where he went 0 for. He had hits in the others, 2 in one, 1 in the other. So he's kind of slowly see the average creep up a little bit. He's been finding more on base with more regularity. Average is up to 212. I mean, he was at 194. Back on the 26th of April when he went 1 for 6 that day. He was hitting 194, and then since it's creeped up to 212. It's certainly not anywhere where it needs to be or should be, but you're starting to see him slowly put together some hits. Now you'd like to see him do some damage, with some extra bait with doubles and home runs and things like that. But maybe it's the sign of a slow build for him.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking at his extra base, multi-hit games, and I think there's like 6 of them so far. 6 or 7. So it's not going to be this big explosive repair. But, as long as he's doing what he did over the weekend, I mean, that's not really what you expect from him. You expect, 1 home run, I guess. Only 2 RBIs there, but, he's 3 for 11. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's something spectacular. But he's just, I don't know. He's just one of those that
look, for the month of May, he's hitting 273 with a 333 on base.
Yeah, that's right.
So for the month of April, he hit 202 with a 297 on base. So he's off to a much better start in the month of May.
Right.
It seems like he's slowly starting to find it. They need him. That's the bottom line. He's got to be better. Mm-hmm. He's got to be better. We can celebrate these little moments of success, but bottom line, he's got to get it figured out because they desperately need him. You can't expect that the bottom of the lineup is going to carry a team. There's a reason they're at the bottom of the lineup often. They're not your best hitters.
Yeah. Well, and during this time when they have injured players, there's never been a time that, we would like Julio to get back to who he is, especially, the more explosive Julio. But, they've gotten by with it. They've been fine. We've been okay with Master Boney and Donnie Barrels, and it's all worked out for him. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And again, just the offensive numbers, all we talked about at the beginning of the show, a lot of them being in the top 5 or 10. Just to me, what makes sense to me, and what I really hope it is that the coaching is starting to penetrate their brains. They're starting to get it. And there's a very simple message that seems like it was very convoluted last year.
Yeah. It certainly does.
You were confused, weren't you?
Well, yeah, we played that cut, and I was just like, I don't know what he's saying here.
Yeah.
What is it? And if this is how he's talking to each of these hitters, I could see them going, dude, wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you get back to Bull Durham where they're like, you see the ball, you hit the ball, you throw the ball, just dumb it down, keep it simple, help these guys just relax. And all of that verbiage and all of that stuff, that's not going to make anybody relax. I could just see guys just getting up there with the wheels turning like, okay, what do you say about this, that? It was so convoluted that I was like, it made sense. It made sense that there were struggles in that lineup.
It's like when I come home and sometimes Shannon will tell me about her day, and I'll go, too many words, hon. I'm sorry, too many words.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Was it a good day or a bad day? I don't know. Clarify for me. Fewer words. But, yeah, hopefully it continues that they've just found a way to reach these guys and get them to relax. That's what I love. Even the guys that you're looking at average-wise who aren't having a great start, you look at the on base and you're going, well, these guys are taking walks. These guys aren't chasing. They're not striking out nearly at the level we've seen the past few years. They lead Major League Baseball in walks.
Yeah.
They're showing some discipline up there, even amidst struggles, right, where guys would be more apt to chase and go up there and try to do something to get out of this slump. I'm not hitting the ball. Well, they're finding their way on base.
Yeah.
And they've been able to do some damage. So,
Bob, it's Cinco de Mayo. So MLB did their, they put everything in Spanish, the names.
Oh, do they?
Who are the Rojos?
The Reds?
Hey, you got
it.
Yeah, you know your Spanish.
That's right. I'm fluent.
I'm just going to give you one.
Yeah, let's leave it there. I'm going to walk out on top. All right, Mariners rotation is about to get a big boost. We're going to get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Jeff Passan of ESPN, who joins us.
Where is Cal in the pantheon of the best catchers in baseball right now?
I think he's at the top of the list, right? I mean, just at this point, I'm not sure who else is there. What we're seeing, though, is the guy who the Mariners gave $100 million guaranteed to.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Pinnacle Builders, LLC reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Pinnacle Builders, LLC. Family owned for over 10 years and featuring superior contracting and craftsmanship. Online at pbllc1.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used. And terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. We've been talking a lot of Mariners. They get back to it tonight against the A's. Coming up in about a half an hour, we'll turn you over to the pregame show. Game 1, Bryce Miller on the hill, so stay tuned for all of that. And then we've been talking about this pitching staff in general with the absence of George Kirby and Logan Gilbert, and hopefully they'll both be back soon. I mean, Kirby made his rehab start yesterday, which was great news. So he's out there throwing. He had been throwing, and this was his first rehab start. Went 3 innings, retired the first 7 batters he faced, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. Big surprise, no walks. Threw 42 pitches and was sitting between 96, 97 miles an hour, hit 98 on his fastball.
Wow.
All great news.
And all pain-free afterwards.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. I've not heard a peep about residual soreness or, oh boy, it's always more about how do they recover? How do they respond to it? So I haven't heard anything. At Lefko, have you heard anything as far as how he responded?
No, I think that would be news if something bad happened, but I also don't think they would be at the forefront of coming out with it. So I'm going to assume fine. Basically my long-winded way of saying,
that's your medical opinion on the whole situation. Is he came out of it fine. We
Dr.
really were
Lefko,
happy with how he threw the ball. I thought his mechanics looked razor sharp.
He's good.
Paging Dr. Lefko.
Yeah. So that's great news.
Yeah.
That's great news. I mean, we haven't seen him yet this year, so that's great. And hopefully Logan will be right there behind him, and you just
think how much better you'll feel.
Oh, I mean, we haven't had it. I mean, you started the year minus Kirby.
Yeah.
So, and then the very first time his turn came up, it was Emerson Hancock, and that was a disaster. Since then, Hancock's been what he was last year, which is just rock solid. I think you see the difference, though, right? When he pitches versus when Wu is rolling, when Bryce Miller is rolling, or anybody else in the rotation's rolling. There's a specialness. There's an electricity. They can be dominant. All those guys, Castillo, Wu, Miller, Logan, Kirby, they can all be dominant. When you see Hancock, he's solid. He's a solid pitcher. I like him. I would be fine with him if he were part of your regular rotation. I'd have a different expectation when it's his day. I would expect, all right, just keep him in the game, give him that quality start. You know, six innings, hopefully 5 to 6, 3 runs or less. That's been what he's done.
Well, and I feel like that's almost every team that has just a mediocre pitching staff. That's like their number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I'm really excited to get Kirby back and just see, because we've just kind of forgotten about him, and just the efficiency is incredible. Never walks anyone. So love that part of it. And then Logan just became their ace. So I'm really excited for those two. But in the meantime, I mean, Logan Evans wasn't like a total disaster, but it was just nice to see him get his feet wet over the last few weeks. And I mean, it was
he had the one bad inning.
Yeah.
It was he gave up 6 runs there. It was a little rough, and Dan Wilson talking about that and what led to that big inning for Evans.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I thought he made those pitches, and they were able to find some holes, and sometimes that's the way the game goes. I think again, he threw the ball well. He made some good pitches. But just luck wasn't on his side in that inning, and they had some runners on and were able to take advantage of it.
There were some just, soft hit, like just landing in no man's land, like little, I think Goldsmith calls them water balloon.
Yeah.
They weren't squaring them up and hitting lasers down, left and right. They were just sort of some cheap hits. Look, you gave them up. You gave up the runs. You gave them up. What doesn't matter whether it was a line drive or it was a bloop. It was happening. But
that did happen.
Yeah, and watching the game, you're like, man, that just kind of fell here, and this one just kind of rolled here. And, it wasn't like they just were on everything he was throwing, and they were just barreling everything. So that made you feel a little bit better about it. But, look, you gave up 6 runs.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes, and I hold him to a different standard. My expectations are totally different. I was more like, all right, let's hope he can do something close to what he did that first start. Whereas when Wu or Gilbert or Castillo or anybody else, I've got a different expectation that's decidedly higher.
Right.
So, hopefully, they can get by with these guys until Logan and Kirby get back, and they can keep things afloat. Hopefully the winning series continues. I don't think it's realistic to expect them to win every series. They're not going to, but it's going to feel weird when they don't, because we're on this tremendous run, 8 in a row. So it just, even when they lost yesterday, they had already won the series. Even though it was Evans out there, that's the one game you'd circle and go, well, if they're going to lose, it's probably going to be this one. That's the one they lost, and I still walked away going, wow, they lost. I can't believe they lost.
Believe it, I know.
Which, in that moment, I'm going, what? 162 games, they're going to lose a lot more. That's how it goes. But it's just, they've been on such a run that you're getting conditioned to winning.
Yeah.
I expect to win tonight.
Well, and really the way they're getting it done too. I mean, it's not like they're fully healthy. I mean, that's the thing about that's so weird, because after that was, again, I talked about it earlier. That was the low after they got swept by the Giants. When you lose Robles and you get swept, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is bad. This is bad news, and it's just been awesome since that time. So. Boy, and the other thing is, if you look at these, just the rankings, and we opened the show with this, but if you looked at, hey, we're number 14, number 2, number 8, number 5, number 1 in these categories, number 4 in this, you would have said, okay, that's got to be pitching. Mm-hmm. And no, that's our offense. And then, it's kind of switched a little bit. They're more like middle ranked numbers for the pitching right now, but ERA is number 12, WHIP, as you mentioned, was 17. Earned runs number 11. So it's kind of, they're getting it done a different way. And that's kind of been the discussion, is that, you're getting it done with guys like Donnie Barrels. Not that he's making huge contributions.
I say you're getting it done in spite of Donnie Barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, with him. But I mean, he's on the team, but
you got like Master Boney and Ben Williamson that are, filling in nicely. And so, during this time when they're this banged up, at least, you got other other people carrying the load, and it's just worked out perfectly.
Well, yeah, I mean, think of going into the season. We knew Kirby was out, which we were going, oh, man, okay, that stinks. But hopefully Emerson Hancock will give us what he gave us last year. And then his first time out there, he doesn't even get through the first inning, gives up 8 runs. You're like, oh, my goodness, that was a disaster. He gets sent down immediately. Remember, he didn't get his next turn. He was down in the AAA. So you had that, and then the injuries just started happening. So if we would have told you before the season started, you're going to, within the first month, you'll be without Kirby, you're going to be without Logan, you're going to be without Robles, you're going to be without Dylan Moore and Luke Raley and Ryan Bliss, and just going down this list, you're going to be like, well, yeah, they're going to be a losing team, of course.
Yeah.
That would make sense. And so the idea that they're here is a minor miracle. And maybe it speaks to some of the weakness of some of the teams, but they've beaten good teams. They've beaten good pitchers out there. So they've done it in ways that nobody, I think, realistically expected. Now, the question just becomes, can they continue it? And I think they can. I think you just got to – I feel like you're buying time until Kirby and Gilbert get back.
Yeah.
Just keep it going. Just keep it afloat until the cavalry shows up. And then you got your full complement, your real 5 out there, and then you expect shutdown. You expect to limit the damage from the opposition and maybe take some pressure off of the offense. And I don't know that the offense is feeling pressure right now, but they're certainly not playing like that.
Yeah.
But you also can't expect them to go out there and put up 14 runs.
What a bummer for Ryan Bliss, man. I mean, he defensively was off to a really good start.
Yeah, he looked good.
He was going to be great. And he had a biceps tendon, is that right? I want to say it was
what it was?
biceps. Yeah. So just, I don't know, it's just a weird injury for a baseball player. But, I don't know. You look at this list, you're getting Dylan Moore back. Luke Raley, I don't know. I'm going to err on the side of, like, that looked pretty bad. I've never seen anybody go to the ground.
Yeah,
for
rolling around.
Yeah, it looked like there was a sniper somewhere in the stadium. Polanco can't play versus lefties, but Victor Robles, to me, I think – and maybe things go differently. Maybe they're not as successful or whatever if they have Victor Robles in the lineup, whatever. But I don't know how that could be. But what a great leadoff hitter he was, and that one is really a bummer. But, you get Demo back here at some point. Hopefully the same thing with Luke Raley, and hopefully then, Polanco can hit versus lefties.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what the team looks like when it's healthy.
Yeah.
If we can get everybody back at the same time.
Well, and we haven't been that way really all year.
No.
Because you started with Kirby.
Yep. And no Brash.
Yep.
So you just got Brash back. So, yeah, maybe it's trending the right way. Kirby with his rehab start. Brash made his first appearance since September of 2023. It's looking up, Dave.
Yeah.
It's looking up.
Yes, it is.
All right, coming up, we learned that there's a lot of interest in our fashion choices. All right, we'll find out what that's about. Coming up with What We Learned. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy.
Nick Imanwari's college coach, head coach of South Carolina, Shane Beamer, joining us.
Hey, Coach, how do you think his game translates to the NFL?
He's got such a skill set because of his size and athleticism. He really can do so much from a coverage standpoint, from knowing what Seattle does defensively. And I think they like guys that are multifaceted and can do a lot.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith. And we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball. But today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now
how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start May 14th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
This is a house of learned doctors. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
So we learned there's interest in our fashion choices, which makes sense. I mean, we really set the tone when it comes to fashion choices in this building. in the show.
I divulged that I have a $15 T-shirt on. Seems like a lot of money to spend on a T-shirt, if you ask me.
Well, we were talking back here. So Brady Robick, who has just shown up, he has his array of like 3 outfits that he wears too. So he's wearing the red one today. He's got the red hoodie, the gray hoodie, and
the
the
red
black
outfit,
hoodie.
the gray outfit.
Yeah.
What would those used to be called? The Granimals or something like that? Where you would match the bear with the little bear. Like there was little shorts for kids. It was like a little outfit.
I don't know.
Called Granimals. And that it was for the kids that like if it had a bear on the shorts and a bear on the shirt, they match together.
Oh.
Are you having a stroke right now?
You're out of my element now.
Ever heard of Granimals?
I've heard that.
No.
I've heard of that. I didn't know that's what that meant.
Yeah. Text them in.
You raised 2 little kids, so it makes sense you would know that.
Yeah,
So,
I got 2 kids. So
You were met with like 4 blank stares. So hopefully
Yeah.
other people know what you're talking about.
Well, first of all, I'm surprised because those 3 there behind the glass, Bob, are children. And then the grown-ups are in here. Every once in a while, I'll ask to please leave the door closed during the break so the grown-ups can talk.
Matt doesn't respond well to that.
No, he doesn't.
Did you find the Granimals? I think we found the Granimals.
Did you guys find them?
Matt's cracking up over there.
I just really like the sentence text in Granimals. What does that mean? What do they do?
Anyway, how do we get on these stupid
Well, you're
topics?
close, Dave.
It's ridiculous.
We learned that it's all Ryan's fault. It's Ryan Rowland-Smith's fault because for some reason, in the middle of our conversation with him, he just decided that he wanted to be concerned about your clothes.
Dave Wyman, what shirt is that? What does that say on that shirt?
It's a performer, Royale. Lane.
Okay. Yeah, never heard of him.
It was a girl who was a country western singer, and she was selling T-shirts and I'm like, I'm gonna go support her. And
so, look at you.
Yeah, it was like $15, and I gave them 20, and they were like, okay, thanks.
They didn't even offer you change, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dave, were you trying to look cool with all the young kids at the concert, like the hipster musician? I'm guilty of it, trust me. I'm like, yeah, I know this group. I'm like,
yeah, look, I got the
No,
shirt.
it was at a winery, okay? And that was just, she
big
was like
time.
a country western performer, so
nice.
I wasn't trying to look cool.
Ryan, we appreciate you, man.
No worries,
Ryan would have turned this into a tank top by now.
Boy, he was cracking himself up, man. Never heard of him.
Some people can get away with that.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Did you look up Garanimals?
Yeah, and I know why we've never heard of them.
Why is that?
Matt, can you read out when they were around?
1972.
Is that when they started?
Yep.
Wow, that's before you
I just
had
remember
kids.
that being a joke. Well,
as far as I know.
worn some of those. But yeah, no, that used to be some kind of a joke, like, ooh, who dressed you? Granimals or whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad I remembered that one correctly, though.
Granimals.
If I was a senior citizen, that would have been a great burn, Dave.
Oh. Look at Matt.
Somebody hitting below the belt.
Wow.
Let's keep them up. Let's keep them up.
What else did we learn?
Well, that kind of leads in nicely to our next one. We learned that Dave now feels old at rookie minicamp.
The Seahawks had their rookie minicamp over the weekend, and Dave, you were out there taking a look at the happenings, what was going on out there.
Yeah, Dave, you were there.
Dave, you were there.
Saw it.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real.
It was. It was amazing. I had a nice little chat with Mr. and Mrs. Zabel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told my wife, I go, yeah, I'm to the point now where I go down and talk to the parents of the kids. But yeah, really nice people, just totally salt of the earth that you would expect.
Were they younger than you?
About the same age.
Okay.
Maybe a little younger.
Dad have a mustache?
He did not have a mustache.
Okay.
You can tell it was his dad, though. He does look a lot like him.
Was he holding a bush light?
That's all we know about him so far. Bush light and mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you know his parents.
And know the parents.
I know a thing about him.
Oh.
Okay. The Seahawks posted a video where all of the rookies got their favorite Starbucks order, and his order was a glass of milk.
Really?
Really.
So I saw a picture of him sipping out of a Starbucks cup. You're
That
telling
was
me that's milk?
Just milk.
Ray Zabel?
Yeah.
Just ordered milk.
Just milk.
That's odd to me. Like, isn't Kyle Brown, our
Yeah, he drinks a lot of milk.
Like, he puts like a gallon of milk on the table, and he'll have like 2 full glasses.
Well, he's very tall. It clearly worked.
He needs to put some meat on those bones, though. I guess the milk's not happening.
I guess not. Yeah, I think when he gets thirsty, most people drink water, he drinks milk.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a thirst quencher, but...
Where do they do that? At the Indy 500? Is that where they drink milk?
I think so.
Yeah. Never mind. These 3 behind here.
The winner.
Okay.
Chugs it.
Lefko knows.
I
She's
know.
got 3
Been there.
blank stares in the beginning.
What else did
They're
we
not
learn?
grown-ups.
Well, okay, this is probably a separate topic. The Eamon Worry Starbucks order is almost psychotic. We'll have to read it to you some other day.
Oh,
it's way too sweet. It would give you diabetes right away.
Yeah.
But we did learn another thing from Ryan, that he was almost teammates with Brett Boone.
Gee, matter of fact, I wrote him a message. I just said congrats because I was hoping he was going to write back and say, hey, you want to jump on the show and tell me all about it? How'd you get the gig? No, but I don't know him that well. I remember being in A-ball, looking up, going, oh man, that's what that dude's big league. You know, I mean, especially on that 2001 team, I was in Z-ball back then. I was in rookie ball on field 20 at the Peoria Sports Complex. You know, so
is that parking lot?
yeah, with an iron-on Mariners jersey, whatever they gave us back in the day.
He was in Z-ball, field 20 with the iron-on Mariners jersey. That's great.
I'd start thinking about that because they used to have like Velcro name tags.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so you could just temporarily put it on a different jersey.
It's the idea of an iron-on Rowland-Smith. It's hilarious. His whole motivation for saying, hey, congrats, hoping he would get back to him and join him on the show.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hey, I'm really excited to watch the A's tonight because of the stadium.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Nobody's ever said that before.
Pre-game show coming your way next. Our thanks to Ryan Rowland-Smith and Martine Gallegos for joining us on the program. If you missed anything from the show, head to seattlesports.com, click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that, and you'll find it waiting for you right there. Mariners and A's coming up. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Nick Eamon has been compared to Cam Chancellor, but have you heard another one that you think may be a better fit?
He's a mix between Cam Chancellor and a Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is a bit better when it comes to covering, and Cam Chancellor was just that pit bull roaming the block, ready to fight anybody who goes across the middle of the field. He has a little bit of both in him.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Baseball's back. It's time your yard stepped up to the plate. Synthetic Turf Northwest is Seattle's go-to for pro-quality turf. Perfect for backyard batting cages, putting greens, or just a mud-free play zone for the whole family. We install the best, we supply the best. And we're local-based in Woodinville with a new Fife location coming soon next to Sportco. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com, where the grass is always greener.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Hey, Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir.
Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
At the Home Depot, we know Mother's Day is a big deal. So what are you working on for Mom this year? With a little help from the Home Depot, you can help create a space just for her. We have a wide variety of patio sets and outdoor furniture that will make the perfect gift for Mom. Just add a few hanging baskets for a pop of color and texture for the perfect finishing touch. Shop outdoor furniture, flowers, gifts, and more for Mother's Day. In-store and online at the Home Depot.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer even sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you back goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, you get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle.